sound because we had that really great session that I lost all the incoming sound on, and that just it's got me so peeved. But or all the incoming sound from my perspective, I should say. So the where we left off, you guys had left GBH 45 after all that had happened there, and you'd gone into cryo, and you came out of cryo because a ship was on an intercept course. It turned out to be a vessel called USS Mahan, a United States Colonial Marine Corps vessel, and because Rudy's character is broken when it comes to manipulation. She basically told the lieutenant in command of that platoon on that frigate to f off. So that's what they did. Meanwhile, you had an android running rampant through your vessel, doing all sorts of stuff. Environmental went down. Um, Dwayne took Vickers and I believe Bob and or I should say Jake and Mitchell went with him while Vickers and Dwayne were fixing that. Jake and Mitchell went into the lifeboat to make sure everything was good there. Rudy, Max, and Blake Jones, your NPC who's on board, who was very relieved that you warned off the Colonial Marines because he said that they couldn't find him there. Um, you guys found that Apollo had been all effed up, that things were cross-wired, panels were torn off. The android had obviously been very busy. And then Jake and Andy sealed off the lifeboat just after Apollo announced that the engines were on an overload. The android popped out in environmental while Dwayne and Vickers were working, and with some help from Jake, because my mobility roll sucked when I tried to make him escape, you guys were able to take him down, but not before he injected Dwayne and Vickers both with syringes. Um, Rudy started hauling the body of the android back towards Apollo, and Vickers and Dwayne finished fixing environmental, and then Dwayne ran off to engineering to try to fix engineering. Meanwhile, Vickers started saying he was not feeling too well, and Bob took Vickers to medical. The Dwayne did manage to fix engineering, but it was a close call because he had to burn a story point so that he could get a stunt to do it in half the time. And that's basically where we're at now. I'm actually going to back up a few minutes because while Dwayne is actually fixing the engines and Apollo is counting down on time for the engines to explode, um, Jake has made it to medical with Vickers, who Vickers is sweating profusely. His eyes are bloodshot. He's shivering. He is, he's sure he's running a high fever. He does not feel well at all, and that's where we're going to start with Bob as biologist Jake Sinclair. What would you like to do, Jake?
Space him. I mean, uh, yes, just rush him to medical as fast as possible and get him into auto doc to run a full diagnosis.
All right. All right, so you help him climb into the auto dock. Would you please make a Comtech roll to use the auto dock?
Who in total's been stabbed with the needle?
Vickers and Dwayne.
Dwayne as well.
Yep.
Okay. Is somebody checking on Dwayne right now?
Well, Dwayne's fixing the engine technically at this moment.
Who's with him? The Blake guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Three successes and a panic. Would you roll your panic, please? You're holding it together. Your fingers are, flying off over the auto dock panel as you're setting up the diagnostic scan to find out what's wrong with Vickers. It's you feel the adrenaline ramping up as you're doing this. You do have two stunts. So what would you like to do with those two stunts?
Take one stunt to open the stunt document. I guess don't need to overcome this again since we need to do it for another PC.
Okay.
And new and unexpected information.
All right. Very good. Um, All right, so I will come back to that in just a second. Rudy, you dragged the broken android back to Apollo, and that's where you and Decker are. What are you guys doing? Decker determined that you guys can fix Apollo, but it's going to take a shift worth of work.
Okay.
Oh, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Do you need help moving cars? Okay. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just making sure my kids didn't need me to help them play musical cars.
Sure, sure. So I think like you said, I determined Apollo could be fixed, but it would take a whole shift.
Correct.
And we locked the door, but the Android is inoperable right now, right? So
Yeah, Rudy is dragging him into Apollo as we speak.
all right. Oh, okay, dragging him into Apollo. So we're down in Apollo, and then above us is the cockpit.
Correct. Correct. So technically, technically, let's see here. Yeah, technically, you guys, and I'll put the icon for the android, even though he's not operable. So that's
Okay.
where you guys are, and I guess Dr. Mitchell Roman's still kind of hanging out in the lifeboat. I would think that he probably would have gone upstairs with Rudy to, or with I'm sorry, with Jake to see if he could provide any help with Vickers. Seems to make sense. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess you probably need I get a contact of, you get a pretty good contact. So, I mean, I would just start working on Apollo.
Okay. All right. That's
I will
fine.
assist him.
All right. Then you can go ahead and make that ComTech roll with the +1 with the assistance from Rudy.
And then with the STD, it would be a +3 total.
Yes. Yes. That's
Excellent.
correct.
Excellent. I still got 2 stress, so let's see what happens.
All right. 2 successes. So you would be able to. You certainly have a stun on that.
Okay. But I got to roll panic too, right? But I got nerves of steel, so.
I'm not showing that you panicked.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I did. I got a face hugger. So success. Oh, that's Jake's. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong dice. Yeah, so 2 successes. I will do it faster.
Okay. All right. So it'll take you about 3 hours to fix that total. So that's fine.
Excellent.
So Jake, back to what you're dealing with at this moment in time. The auto dock is it's scanning Vickers, and it's determining that there is he has some sort of infection, or at the least that's what it appears to be at first, that's spreading fast throughout his entire cardiovascular system. And his you can start to see where his veins are bright red. You can see him through his skin, where his skin's exposed. The system says his temperature's over 103 degrees. It's the new and unexpected information is that the autodoc doesn't. It seemed like an infection at first, but it becomes very clear that it's not actually an infection, but rather some sort of invasive DNA, and it is actually rewriting his DNA, almost cannibalizing it in certain in a certain, almost cannibalizing it in a way, um, and it appears that he has some sort of tumor or something along those lines that is growing in his abdomen. And when I say growing, it is growing exponentially. It has tripled in size just in the last 10-20 seconds. Um, Unlike anything you've ever seen before, take a point of stress.
Oh, thank you.
And
And
Vickers, by the time the thing gets the scan done, Vickers is actually going into convulsions.
What do we do now? Ah, I'm a biologist, not a doctor.
Damn it, Jim.
Yep. I check the order doc for any advice that it would give me.
It's recommending it's recommending
Last will and testament.
it's recommending a sedative and perhaps Naprolev to start, to obviously to calm the convulsions. It's recommending a heavy dose of anti-inflammatory to hopefully start to treat the fever. As far as the growing mass, which is already well, it's getting very large. In fact, you can actually see through his clothing where his belly, his abdomen is starting to bulge. Um, it's it's recommending, after all those steps, it seems to be recommending a surgery to remove it. However, it also is indicating that he's not going to survive the surgery.
Right. So again, first diagnosis was right. Space him.
no airlock in this room, huh?
No, no.
Right. I will do everything the order doc, advises, and if the order doc has like a secure chamber, I would lock that up and then tell it to start the. I will check with the rest of the crew first and tell them Vickers is there's something growing inside of him. The order doc says we have to get it out. Do we do surgery or do we put him in stasis? Advise people now.
I say stasis.
Yeah, stasis. If this thing isn't coming out of them imminently,
Maybe when we get somewhere more advanced, they'll be able to fix him. What the fuck do we know?
And do
He's
we
the
know?
fucking doctor, right?
Yeah, he's the medic.
And I guess does stasis make sense?
Dwayne, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, excellent.
Yep, very good.
Welcome to the difficult moral dilemmas.
Part
On
two.
this fine Wednesday morning. Part two. Part two.
Sorry. So, Dwayne, we backed up in time just a few minutes. You're actively fixing the engine, and you just heard over comms that Jake announced that something's wrong with Vickers, that there's something physically growing inside of him that the autodoc says that needs to be removed. All right, so you're going to pull him out of the autodoc and take him to cryo. Is that the plan?
Yes, if that makes sense for the situation.
All right. All right. Now you did say you wanted to have the autodoc pump him with the meds it recommended, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything, including but not limited to sedative antibiotics, antivirals.
Okay, perfect. So you, yeah, so you know the thing's whirring as a number of little arms with needles come out and start injecting him. You recognize all the standard stuff, naprolev and like you said, antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, probably steroids like prednisone, you know, all sorts of stuff, or whatever the alien version of prednisone is, and then he is calmed down a bit. His fever is still running very high. His abdomen is physically bulging outward. Um, you pull him out of the autodock, and I'm assuming you're wanting to go the fastest way to cryo, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that would have you come in here. Because number one's the cryo deck, isn't it? Yeah. So as you and Mitchell help him, you get through the last door and you're coming up on the cryo beds, and he suddenly just doubles over in pain. Would you make? I think the way I'm going to handle this is if you would make a close combat roll with a +1 bonus, because the way I'm seeing it, Mitchell Roman is helping you get him there.
Right. +1 bonus to punch him in the belly, right?
Yeah, that's right. 2 successes, so he doubles over in pain, and he yanks away as he does it, but you guys are able to hold him tightly, though it does slow you down for a moment. I suppose Dr. Roman would say, let's get him in that cryo tube right there. And as you guys move and lay him into one of the open cryo tubes, he suddenly screams. And as you look, his belly has almost a red line right up the middle of it, as his shirt is pulled up from all the you guys trying to carry him through and all the physical scuffle. And there's just the most horrific sound you've ever heard of. It's like something hacking at a piece of meat, but from the inside, as his belly just splits open. And there's blood everywhere. By the way, gain a point of stress. In fact, make an immediate panic roll. And ooh, drop an item. Ooh, we'll have to see what Jake is carrying.
Vickers, I think.
As oh, you're not carrying. Yeah, you don't technically have the strat soul, but you have a few items. Let's just roll a d6 and we'll see what happens. The blood and gore is everywhere. Your SSDD has fallen and clattered on the deck. I'm gonna roll a d6. If I roll a 1, it's broken. Oh, your SSDD is broken. Shattered on the deck. So you'll have to take that off your character sheet, sir.
Oh, Jesus.
In addition to the blood and gore that is flung everywhere, you don't know how to explain it except perhaps to call it almost like a placenta or a sac of some sort, kind of wobbles and over the side of his torn open belly and off the cryo tube and onto the floor, and this vile, horrific thing tears its way out of it. And it looks like, well, you know what it looks like. You've seen it before. Well, you haven't seen this one before, but you guys as players have. I'm trying to make it bigger.
Jesus. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. And I don't know any of this on by Apollo, I'm sure.
Yeah, no one really knows this is going on except that you guys agreed to get Vickers to cryo. And after all this, Apollo announces in a very calm voice, engine overload, 2 minutes. Of course, we know that Dwayne is going to fix that. But I'm going to issue initiative cards. Poor Vickers, unfortunately, is he's done. You ready, Bob?
No.
Bob, I'm sorry. I wish the cameras worked so I could show you that I'm not cheating. You were on a 10. Dr. Mitchell Roman is on a 6. And the creature is on a 1, a 5, and a 9.
Okay.
So it gets 3 per round? Oh, Jesus.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. The the only good news is that it's very tiny. It's the size of a small dog, maybe a Chihuahua or something along those lines. Yeah, it's almost cute. Outside of the fact it just
Yeah.
tore out of your buddy.
Sure.
So we are going to see what it does. And click. Oh, very good. All right. It seems to regard you and Dr. Roman standing over it, even though it doesn't seem to have any eyes whatsoever, and it suddenly just bolts at one of the ventilation grates. I am going to make a mobility roll, and if it succeeds, it just gets away. And it does. It reaches one of the ventilation gates and grates, and it just tears its way right through the metal, and you hear it scampering away at high speed in the ventilation.
Okay, yeah, this is awesome.
So good news, Bob. It's gone.
Yeah.
First a crazy android, no this thing.
So I think I can get rid of the initiative cards because combat's over. That was quick. Yeah. What do you want to do, Bob?
I will fall down against a wall and just sit there breathing panic for a little while. And then I'll jump to a comm unit and just yell, "There's something loose in the ship. It came out of Vickers. I don't know what the heck."
So you said that over comms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I go, what do you mean? What came out of them? What is it?
One of those alien things. It's one I've never seen before, and it ran into the vents.
I'll retcon that really quickly for a second there for you, Jake. It does look vaguely familiar. It looks similar to the ones that you saw back on Alpha Casea on your second visit. You know, it's kind of pale, almost translucent, whitish gray. So it did look like those, just smaller.
Right.
So you probably would have. I would say you would probably thought it looked familiar. So we'll just retcon that.
It looks like a teenager of one of the ones.
A teenager.
Oh, that's awesome.
Apollo announces engine overload averted. So at that point, Dwayne, you are complete with fixing the engine,
All right.
and you're hearing all the comm chatter, of course.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hustle my butt to medical.
Okay. All right. So we will drag you that way. Um,
I'm looking for the docks.
there's nobody here.
Yeah.
The auto dock looks like it was in use. It's just kind of been opened up in the middle of doing a number of things, but other than that, there's nobody here. Um, Blake, I would imagine Blake probably comes with you.
Oh, I forgot Blake was with me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get on the comms and say, "Hey, this is Dwayne. I'm in medical. I need attention."
Um, Blake,
I will move to medical.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'll move to medical.
Okay. All
I
right.
have at 1 point in medical skills, so now
All
that
right.
Vickers is dead, I guess I'm the medic.
Max, what do you want to do?
I'm sorry. Did you guys call me? I had to step away from the computer for a second.
Oh, it's okay. No, Rudy is heading to medical. You're just going to keep working on the computer.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right, that's fine. All right. So,
Well, I'm gonna start getting in the auto dock
okay.
to be diagnosed, but when Rudy comes in, I'm gonna tell Rudy we need to have somebody with Comtech to run the auto dock.
Let's see here. Well,
So out of character, how many Comtech dice does Rudy have?
Well, yeah, Rudy is terrible with Comtech.
All right,
She
so we need.
has 3, but if she could roll medical aid, does
I'm not sure which one. You'll have to ask.
Yeah, does the doc run on either? Or
no, the
both,
auto
or
dock runs
neither?
specifically on Comtech. The idea behind the auto dock is that someone who doesn't have medical capability can program it to do what you want it to do. So you could either throw them in the auto dock and try and make a Comtech roll and hope it works, or you could just medical aid is where you're just treating him directly, doing an exam, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I need the auto doc to do a scan. I was injected by that synth, same as Vickers, and I just heard the call that something nasty came out of Vickers. So I need to have a scan, and we need to call one of the Comtech guys up here to run this thing.
We might be wasting time. It might just be better to throw you in a cryopod and get you to a surgical center.
I want to have a scan.
Well, if
All right,
you announced
scan
you were going to medical, Bob, what do you want to do?
Well, if I hear that they need somebody to run the auto dock, I will try and pull it together and rush up to help them.
All right, that's
And I'll
fine.
also suggest via, Comm, just get in a cryopod. We don't want to have happen to you what happened to Vickers.
I want a scan in the auto doc.
With Vickers, we ran out of time.
It's a boy, okay? Just
It's
move
a
on.
boy. But it's up to you. We ran out of time. The thing hatched before we could shut him into the
As a
crowd.
side note, Dwayne, you feel perfectly fine. Just, I mean, you feel fine, but
Yeah, that's why I want the scan in the auto doc.
I'm rushing towards you guys. To try
Not to mention, I got to pull up my sheet. Not to mention, I did take some damage fighting the synth. Let's see, what's my character sheet say? Yeah, I took 2 damage, but my health is 5, so it's not like I'm in peril.
you've got 5 remaining.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're like impossible to kill. Did you say something, Bob?
Not really. I'm just maybe going via the kitchen if I can. grabbing a big pan.
A big pan.
Who's doing the Comtech role? Oh, Jake. One thing I do want you to do is make sure either by the autodoc or by you take a sample of my blood for analysis. I'm telling you, I was injected by something by the synth. The same stuff that injected Vickers. So,
Right. Anybody helping me program the autodoc?
Andy can help you. He's got Comtech. So you can gain him +1 from him. 2 successes and a panic. Roll your panic.
oh,
Holding
good
it
one.
together. And you have a stunt.
New information.
Okay.
Especially since we're putting blood.
Yeah. So as your autodoc is scanning and you tell it to take a blood sample, and it's doing its thing, the scan does indicate that Dwayne has a pollutant in his blood, and it is, from what you can tell, it looks like it's the same chemical that Vickers had in his blood, except in Dwayne it's inert. It's not doing whatever it was supposed to be doing. Autodoc thinks that, you know, it'll. Autodoc thinks that in the end his kidneys are probably going to filter it out, and that's going to be the end of it. Whatever it is, it's not acting in Dwayne the same way it did in Vickers.
Dwayne, it looks like this, whatever it is, didn't activate in your system, so you should be good, man. I do suggest a good maybe blood path, maybe just stay in the autodoc and have your blood cycle out. But other than that, I think you're gonna survive, man. I think you're good.
Well, okay, we can discuss that. That thing that came out of Vickers, where did you said it escaped? Where did it go?
It crawled up into the air vents, and that's the last I saw of it.
Oh man.
Yep.
Out of character, hints of the first movie. Back in character. So, if this thing has access to the air vents, we saw how the synth got all over the ship through those things. What are we gonna do to get rid of this thing?
Well, I have an idea. I have no idea if it would work. But if it's an organic organism that requires oxygen,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
all
You're going
respiration,
down the path.
you guys could head to the cryotubes, and I could vent the air. We could leave it that way for 24 hours or 48 hours or even a week, and see what happens. I'll
That's
stand
what
guard.
I was think. That's what I was thinking too.
I mean, it's not like we have some kind of airborne chemical that we can gas it with, or do we? Is there something we could vent from engineering or something, like carbon monoxide or something?
Well, we don't know how that would affect it, but I was thinking about something different. I was similar. What I'm worried about is if we get in the cryotubes, that would be great, except that if this thing, is there a chance that this thing, if it survives, can just rip through a cryotube and kill us while we're sleeping or in suspended state? Or what if we got in the lifeboat and detached and then vented the ship and waited in the lifeboat?
Oh, look, we've got all these suits. We just suit up and then
And we suit up and we vent the ship with our suits on.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the cryo tube with that thing running around in any case. So I suggest we vent up and then, or suit up and then vent up.
All right. So then the other thing I'll recommend is that before we suit up and vent the ship, the lifeboat has been isolated. We blocked it off, right?
That's true.
And generally, it isn't connected to the vent systems anyway. It's a standalone, ready to eject ship. So if it's locked up, then I feel good that the thing probably isn't in there. So I'm with you. I think that's a great idea. We could suit up and then vent the ship. What do you think, Rudy?
I do like this plan. I think if we could get in the lifeboat and get out, I think that's the best case, because if we could vent this explosively, that would be even better.
Oh, well.
Force the thing out, maybe.
So what we're trying to decide is, do we get in the lifeboat, exit the ship, and then vent it, or do we just stay in the ship but put our suits on and vent the ship?
I vote for stay in the ship so that we can actually figure out what's going on. Suit up, arm up, and vent it, so we can actually see what's happening with it, and motion trackers or something like that to figure out where it is.
We'll probably have to do some. I don't know. I don't. All right, so I'm gonna go out of character a second, Hachi, and ask you a question that Dwayne should know as the engineer of the ship.
Fair enough.
Can I get Apollo to vent the ship, or are there safeguards that need to be overridden?
Yeah, certainly you guys could get Apollo to vent the ship. It's going to Apollo's going to have a complaint with that because of the obvious danger it poses to you guys. So you would need to have something in place to get around that. But yeah, you could use Apollo to do that.
Okay, and that's a CommTech role. So all right, so back in character. Yeah, guys. We'll just get Apollo. I think we can get Apollo to vent the ship. So, Rudy, we're back to: do we stay on the ship in our suits, or do we get in the lifeboat and get some distance?
I think it's better to avoid being on the ship when we do this, just for a couple of reasons. One, we don't know how that thing's going to react. We don't know if it's going to become like hyper violent. You know what I mean? Like, this could be. I'd rather just let it die. Find it floating in space.
Okay. Remember,
but that's either way, it's going to work.
All right. So remember, if we do an explosive decompression, anything that's not relatively tied down is getting vented. So if you have anything of significant importance, need to make sure it's battened down, and then we should get on with it. So, so Max, what's your opinion?
Well, Max is elbows deep into messed up wiring and probably didn't hear you.
I forgot. He's in the It's in the front. All right.
But I would have said just what you just said. Is like anything that's not. And I don't know if I should start talking like we're talking in the game, but I won't ruin that. I have ideas, but I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No, but you make a good point. Since we realize you're not standing there, one of us needs to get on the comm and fill Max in on what we're planning to do because it's going to affect him. He's busy working.
If we're deciding to vent the ship, we would call everybody together or discuss this over the comm unit.
I think that's a fair retcon that you guys
Okay.
would have had the intercom open as you talk about it.
Okay.
Would everybody make an observation roll for me, please?
Okay.
Everybody in that room, or
Oh
me
no,
too?
you two.
Okay.
Everybody.
All right. Hold on a second. I got to pull my
Lottie
guy
dottie,
up.
everybody.
Dang it.
Jake is getting tired of all these panic rolls, and he's gonna pop some nap relief.
All right, perfect.
All right. Observation.
Ah, yeah, Daddy. Woohoo.
Whoa, that's a lot of stress you got there, Dwayne. Make your panic roll. Drop a
Wow.
9. I think the only thing you're really carrying is a maintenance jack.
That is correct.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll a d6. Okay, you know, as you guys are talking, you're starting to realize how overwhelmingly silent the ship really suddenly seems, knowing that there's something loose on board. And you guys are having these discussions over intercom, and you're just you're having that conversation, and Max, you're working, mostly listening as they talk and discuss everything that's going on, or what they want to do in terms of vending the ship, that type of thing. And that sound happens right behind you. That's the door to Apollo. And the hair stands up on the back of your neck, and you turn and look, and this thing is sitting there just right on the other side of the door. When I say sitting there, it's almost got a posture like a large dog, when a dog kind of sits at attention, with its legs
Right.
folded.
Uh-huh.
And
Did you show a picture when you
well,
said this thing? Because I couldn't see anything.
you guys should be looking at the subdeck now. You see the ship subdeck?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the little avatar there. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Blow it up.
I'm trying.
You'll get a view if you blow. Well, if you increase the magnification on your screen,
Got it. I'm scrolling in.
then
Okay, cool.
you should be able to at least get an idea what it looks like.
Yep.
If
Roger that.
if this is the thing that came out of Vickers, Max, you're terrified as to the condition of Vickers' body, because this thing doesn't look small enough to have come out of anybody. As you're looking at it, it stands from its sitting position. It's got claws. It's got a razor sharp tail. This whitish skin. It is when it stands up, it's standing on its hind legs. It's 4.5 feet tall.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is it between me and the ladder going up to
It is
the
not.
bridge?
It is not. So
Right.
I'm going to deal initiative cards. You
Awesome.
ready? All right, Mr. Max Decker, the pilot, is on a 2.
2, excellent.
That's a pretty good chance to pull something off here. All right, and the creature has a 10, has a 1,
Oh,
and a 6.
damn it.
Screwed.
All right,
Are the comms still open?
yeah.
So he probably heard me scream. Ah!
It
The fuck is that?
it moves into Apollo and makes an attack. Terrifying hiss. So you guys hear over the intercom this hissing sound that is just something inhuman, something alien. Max, its smooth head and face, which it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have nose. It just kind of suddenly parts, and there's this circular maw full of teeth, and it hisses at you. Make an immediate panic roll, please.
All right. Do I increase my stress too?
No, for some reason it doesn't say to do that. So
Okay. Well, I mean, I just saw this thing for the first time, right? I'm not trying to ruin my chances here. I'm just.
you know, you've seen them before though, because you guys saw them on Alpha Casea, so you know what it is on some level. Maybe not a happy level, but.
All right, so I get a -2 to all panic rolls. I'm going to try the button on Nerves of Steel and see what happens.
Yeah, if you click the button, it should work just fine. That's weird. What is that?
That is weird.
Well, unless they were. Let me try it one more time.
I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me try regular panic. There we go.
Yeah, if you click Nerves of Steel and then click the panic, I thought it was supposed to automatically subtract it.
So yeah, you're holding it together.
So that would have been if that's a 6 and I have a -2, it would have been a 4, but it didn't show that.
Well, it's a question of if you have Nerves of Steel clicked on your sheet. If you do, it's doing the math automatically.
Well, I do, and it doesn't. I mean, so it's a 6-sided die. I rolled a 6 with a -2. I don't know.
Right. Well, +2 for your stress level and -2, so you actually rolled a 6.
I see. Okay, so it took out.
Oh yeah,
took
if you
away the
hover
other
over
dice.
it shows the roll in parentheses 6, then +2, and then plus a -2. So.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's awesome. So it's 1 die 6 +2 -2. Okay.
All right. So it is your turn. You are at engaged range. It is in the Apollo room with you. What would you like to do?
Try to get to the ladder and go up.
Okay, make a mobility roll.
Please, 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 please. Here we go.
All right, roll your panic.
Okay, 1 pen.
Holding it together. So it you know, as it's just hissed in your face, and the two of you are, you know, there's probably this horrible moment of stasis where the two of you are staring at each other, right? And it you break for the ladder and make it up just as this tail slashes at you, but misses. So your fast action, you got up into the bridge. So I'm going to put you guys on ship main deck, and drag you over there, Max Decker. So you are on the bridge. That was one action. You have another. You have a slow action.
I'm guessing there's a hatch to close.
There is a hatch to close.
I will be closing the hatch.
All right, that will work.
Nope, not dealing with that right now. So, do I have to roll for the close of the hatch, or does it just happen?
No, I'm not worried about
excellent.
that.
Okay.
Again, general rule: if it's
God
something
damn,
you should
that was
know how to do.
That could have went south really quick. I think we got 3 head roll for the creature, and then 2 good rolls for me. I mean, this character actually almost died because I know how fast he died when those things are around.
Well, the comms were open.
Okay.
We heard the hiss, right?
Yeah, you did hear the hiss.
Max, are you okay?
If comms are open, then there's a comm link on the bridge, so I'll be like, yeah, holy shit, the thing came after me. It's down in Apollo right now. I managed to get away, but barely.
And an appendage, as you guys are talking, it looks like the point of this thing's tail actually slams its way right through the hatch. And it yanks back through the hatch, and you can hear the creature below hissing in either frustration or anger. You're not sure, but there's a
So
big hole in the hatch now.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Looks like you can get through the hatch. I'm guessing the hatch is different than, say, a regular door on the ship, right?
How's
Yeah.
he open a hatch? He doesn't have opposable thumbs, does he?
Oh yeah, sure he does. But it was his tail that shot through it.
This is a
I
tail that
know
shot
it's
through.
a joke.
Yeah. Shit. So yeah. So I screamed
They're
that.
animals,
He can
man.
get through
They
the
can't
hatch.
work the hatch.
Yeah. So let's see. What do I have around here? Do I have what kind of systems can I use on the bridge before I run from this? I have a few minutes, I'm guessing, because he just did one poke through, right?
Well, maybe.
Oh, maybe he can squeeze through that tight space.
No, probably not. But oh wow. Okay. So, because I forgot, it has its third action before you get to do anything again. There is a massive, massive thud from below. Obviously, you can't see it, but the impression you get is the thing probably threw its whole body up against the hatch, and the locking mechanism snaps, and the hatch just plops open.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Hey, guys, I'm going to deal you guys in on initiative.
Okay.
Because you know there's some shit going on. You just have to decide what you want to do, if that makes sense. So,
Dwayne and I get 2 cards, right?
if you guys both have lightning reflexes, yeah.
We
So,
do.
we'll start with Jake. You're on a 5. Rudy, your choices are a 4 or 7. I guess you want the 4.
Please.
Yeah. And then let's shuffle those up a little bit. And then Dwayne, you're on a 7 or a 9.
7.
Oh, and then I've got Blake and I've got Roman Mitchell. So let me shuffle that again. They're on a 9. Okay. The creature
I
is
still have the
still.
same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
go
still
ahead.
have number 2. I'm still
Yeah,
number 2,
you're still
right?
number
Okay,
2.
so it's just an extension. Okay.
Yeah, and the creature is on a 1 still because he has a 1, a 6, and a 10. So the creature climbs his way up into the bridge with you, Max. That's a fast action. And then it, I'm afraid, is going to attack you, sir.
Oh, come on. Just hiss at me. Ah!
It just-
Nice.
Make a panic roll. Alright, holding it together. So, that brings us to number 2, which is Max.
Yep. Run. I don't know if the door's open or not, but run through.
Make a
That door.
mobility roll to get away.
Okay.
3 successes.
Nice.
Alright.
Nice. Do I get to give a stunt to anybody?
Well,
What do
there's
you
no
think
one
I
else
go?
in the same situation.
Oh, 6. Okay, then
so
a plus
you-
1 to a later roll, I guess.
Yeah, you can
so
take
probably
2
need to
plus
run some
ones.
more.
So that's
Okay.
fine. You slip past it out the door into the hallway. That's a fast action. What do you want to do with your other fast action?
I close the door.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes.
All right. All right. And then we have a. Let's see. That brings us to Rudy on a 4.
Yeah. I will, over the intercom, say, get to the lifeboat, which is redundant, but seems like a captain-y thing to say. And then I will,
Yeah.
I
All
will
right,
haul
we're going
ass.
Okay.
So, actually, in saying that, can that be a command to give people bonuses to mobility or whatever they need to roll?
I'll let you do that. This is a combat situation. Sure.
Cool. Okay, so I need to make a command roll if I remember correctly,
That is correct.
and people get to add the successes, right? That's how that works.
Yep. Yeah, you have to add the successes as extra dice. So
Well,
one success.
of course. Well, at least
Wow.
one is better than
Yeah.
No, you could push it if you wanted to.
none.
Your call. Just putting it out there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what people might need to roll for or not, so you get +1 for now.
Okay. All right.
So this is the command to go to the lifeboat.
Correct. Which
Get to the lifeboat.
so that is
Get to the chopper.
that's right.
Get to the chopper.
So that gives you that was one success, or that was I'm sorry, that was because you have field commander, so you were correct. So you get to issue a command as a fast action.
Yeah.
So you still have an action as well.
Yeah, and I will haul ass.
All right. So that gets you into the hallway outside. I mean, the closest stair or ladder down is right outside medical, so I'm assuming that's where you would head.
That's where I'm heading.
All right, very good. Brings us to Jake on the 5.
Jake will run for the lifeboat.
All right, Jake. Fast action to get out of medical. Fast action to go downstairs. So that will put you there. Or down the ladder, I should say.
You meant fast and slow.
Well, it's the same thing. Same
Oh.
thing. All right, so you would be right there. All right. Number 6 is the creature. Well, you have that door locked out, so it can't just walk up to the door and open it. So I would think that when that doesn't work, it would probably attack the door. Seems to make sense to me.
Sure. And it hissed at the door.
It hissed at the door.
It's pissed.
Yeah, it is pissed. Okay. All right, very good. And then we're up to Dwayne on a 7.
I'm going to pick up my maintenance jack as my fast action
Perfect.
and head out towards the ladder down.
Okay. All right, that'll put you there. And then that brings us to the NPCs, which is Blake and Dr. Mitchell. I think they just go downstairs in the mad dash. Let me move their characters down there. Their icons, I should say. Dr. Mitchell Roman and Blake Jones. All right, so, and then that puts us back to the creature, which is a 10. Creature's not downstairs. Neither's Max. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up icons. Max, make an observation roll.
Okay.
One success. You hear a rending of metal from inside the bridge,
Uh-huh.
and then that's it. You hear nothing else. And then a moment later, you hear the same thing from down the hall to your left.
Okay. I run back through the door to the bridge.
Well, the thing is,
I don't have it's not my.
we're back
turn
on
yet,
the top of the round, which makes it a 1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm not trying to kill you. It's just the most logical thing.
Well, yeah, it is. So tail slash. Nice.
You have no armor, correct?
No armor.
All right, so it slashes this razor sharp tail at you. Now you've not acted yet. Well, you don't. Do you have any equipment that you could argue you could use to block an attack with?
I don't think I have anything big enough.
There's that
'cause I have,
clipboard right next to you on the wall.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
we use
no,
for
I mean,
inventories on Mondays.
Yeah, but today's Tuesday.
Yeah, the SDD, that's probably just like a palm device.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything. nothing on me anyway.
All right.
That's big enough to block it.
Then you take 2 damage and gain a point of stress as this
All right.
tail whips around and slashes through the front of your shirt, leaving leaving red behind.
If he's
So
wearing his
still
shirt,
alive. Yeah, still alive. So I have 1 health, so that's good. And now my turn.
And now it is your turn.
Excellent. Go through the door.
All right, you have
Yeah.
to make a mobility roll to disengage.
Come on. Don't-
+1.
Oh, that's right. I get a +2, right?
Oh, you have +2 from your previous successes, your stunts,
Right.
and then
Yes.
yeah, you would give a +1 from Rudy's command to escape.
Oh, that's right.
So
So
total of
3.
3.
Okay. So this will be a pretty big roll. Come on. Oh, man.
All right, you're back in there. The door closes behind you. The hatch is splayed open. The locking mechanism's
Mhm.
destroyed. So that was your fast action. You have another action. Assuming you're going
Uh,
down.
Let me think. I mean, I think it's in the hallways, which sucks because I don't know if I can remotely close all the doors on the ship.
Right
them,
now,
or-
no, because Apollo. You
Yeah,
guys ran
Apollo's
into that
down.
last
Tried
time
that
because
once
Apollo's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going down the hatch and run that way towards the lifeboat.
All right, so that'll put you down into the Apollo room. I will put your icon down there. Maybe if Roll20 will behave. There we go. And then that comes to Rudy on a 4.
Not much to do but run for it.
All right, so and then so that would be a fast action would get you down that elevator, or not elevator,
Ladder.
but that ladder. Thank you. Going to move you here. Where are you, Rudy? Which puts you out right there in the midst of everybody else, so you can see what that looks like. And you've got 1 action left. You could use your other action to move into the lifeboat itself, if that's what you want to do.
Sure, at the very least, open the door for everyone. But yeah, I'll go in.
All right, that's fine. Brings us to Bob. Your 2 actions for Jake Sinclair.
Running to get into the lifeboat and start prepping it.
All right, perfect. For prepping it, we'll have you make a Comtech roll. And then the creature. Oh, no successes. Would you like to push the roll? One success. That's a lot of dice
wow.
for 1 success. All right. Give me 1 moment to decide what this thing's going to do. All right. You want to make a Max? Do you want to make an observation roll?
I would love to. God, this fucker. Observation, yes.
Okay. Dwayne, your turn.
Fast action down the ladder.
Yep.
And then my next action is go to the boat.
Go to the boat. Where are you, Dwayne? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. All right, that puts you in the boat. And then that brings us to the NPCs, which are Blake and Dr. Mitchell Roman. And then that brings us to the creature. As it drops to the floor through the hatch. right next to you, Max, and it's going to attack you.
God damn it! How did he get through the door? I heard
He went back through the ventilation.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Okay.
Through the open comms, Decker, you take 2 damage.
All right, I'm down.
You're down. Through the open comms, you guys, through the intercoms, you hear Max Decker's voice, shout, "No! Ah!" And he's the voice gets quieter for a moment as his scream is dragged away from the intercom, and then it gets louder again as he goes to another intercom. Max, you are dragged. It grabs a hold of you and drags you up back into the bridge and then into the air vent between the bridge and the hallway.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Would you please roll a D66?
Okay.
Damn it.
D66 is over here. Motherfucker. Sorry, I hope you probably have to delete or bleep out all my swearing here.
Oh, please.
Where's the D6? Oh, is it on the character
It's just
sheet?
on the character sheet. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was gonna do
It's an alien game.
yeah. Where's the
Top middle.
top middle? Oh, there it is. Yep. Wait, no. Where the fuck is it? I have a 1d3, 1d6, 2d6, 3d6. Oh, there it is, all the way up. I'm sorry.
43.
Oh, that's not so good.
As it's dragging you through, we'll say even is right, odd is left. Odd. As it's dragging you through, probably up through the hatch, your left elbow, your arm kind of swings wildly, and your left elbow gets cracked up against the deck. You're pretty sure that the bone is broken in your left elbow, but you're still alive, but all you can do is talk and crawl, and your left arm is useless.
And scream. Well,
and scream.
My health is below 0 now too. So because I took that 2 from the grab, I took 2 damage, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah. So you're broken, which means all you can do is crawl and talk.
Oh, I'm not unconscious. Well,
No.
okay. Yeah. No. So I scream. He's got me in the. I don't know. What is that? The starboard shaft. He's got me in the starboard shaft. That's what I'm screaming.
Yep.
Hopefully somebody will hear.
That will work.
Right, everybody stay out of the starboard shaft.
Yeah.
Bob, you're a bad man. But you're not dead.
Exactly.
Oh, no, you are. The creature looms over you right after you say that, Decker, and that tail comes down and punctures you right through your chest. Penetrates your heart.
I gurgle blood out of my mouth and say, "You fucker," and just die. Okay, Mix. It's nice knowing you.
Yeah, Max Decker has passed, I'm afraid.
Neomorph 2, Human 0.
Yeah. All right.
New morph is fucking horrible.
Yeah. They're very easy to kill, but they're fast. They're very fast. If only you guys had guns. But
Yeah.
an evil android got rid of those.
Yeah.
Might have been the evil GM, I'm not sure.
Well, and I allegedly had a service pistol on me.
Oh, no, it was gone as well.
Oh, it was gone as well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Shoot.
All right, so you guys are down in the lifeboat. and it's
Did we hear like his dying?
oh, no doubt, absolutely.
Oh,
You, you
goodbye,
probably
Max. Goodbye.
and actually, I believe you all gain a point of stress for that.
Oh yeah, that's very understandable.
If you had actually seen it, I'd have made you make a panic roll as well.
Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
All right. What's the plan down in the lifeboat? It's Rudy's turn.
Um. All right. As much as I hate to do this, I don't think there's any other choice just to release the lock. We don't have to close. I mean, our airlock needs to be closed, but the ship's airlocks don't.
No. All right. So you're going to you want Apollo to open up the airlocks on the ship on the
Open the
main ship.
locks on the on the main ship, and we just head out into space.
Yeah.
Even if our engines aren't online, doesn't matter.
No, not really. You just need to get a little distance. So I will. I'll kind of narrate through this a little bit. You guys, obviously you're the adrenaline's pumping because this whole thing's happened over the space of 30 or 60 seconds as you all run and charge your way into the lifeboat. Dr. Sinclair was getting everything turned on and activated as Max screams out that the thing's got him and is dragging him into the ventilation shaft, and then you hear his dying scream as you guys release the lifeboat from the ship, while Jake or Mitchell would be also telling Apollo to open up all air vents and to explosively decompress the Magellan. Um, and as you drift away and you start we should go back and make sure he's dead. He could be alive. We don't leave people behind.
Yeah.
The I would think as this process is happening, as your lifeboat's maneuvering thrusters are moving you away from Magellan, and you guys are seeing airlocks open and air blow out. Who'd like to make an observation roll?
Not me.
Mine's not very high either. I would
Oh,
recommend
I'm
Jake.
worried about my panics.
Here we go.
Well done, Jake.
A whitish gray form, almost as big as a man. No doubt what came out of Vickers, but much larger. The fact it grew so quickly in a matter of minutes is astounding to you, Jake, and probably the scientist in you, and certainly in Dr. Roman, in a way wishes you guys could have captured this thing so you could study it as it blows out a starboard airlock and into deep space. Its arms flailing as it goes.
Is there a part of me in one of its hands as it gets blown out?
Gruesome.
Just see one of my legs in its hand. He was chomping on it.
That's right. But yeah, you guys succeeded.
Ish.
Hey, what is this, session 11 or something? And it's the first character death.
Right. We did pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, we've had 2 of them today.
Yeah, but in all fairness, Vickers' death was spelled at the end of last session, so.
True that. That's true.
that was just gonna happen. The dice rolls, the dice gods determined that last time. Um, would the plan be for you guys to reconnect to Apollo and reconnect the lifeboat?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I would have someone make a Comtech roll to do that automatically, since
Did we see Max get ejected as well?
you did not.
Okay. What about the body of the android?
No.
Okay.
No, the body of the android. Uh, Actually, yes, I take that back. You would have seen the body of the android come out because of where he was. He'd have been blown out the airlock that connects to the lifeboat right here.
So he's probably blown out first, really, if you think
Yeah,
about it.
he'd have come out first, to be sure,
Excuse me.
spiraling off into space.
But we've retained Max's body.
To your knowledge, it didn't look like it blew out of the ship.
Okay.
It could be pretty ugly, but when we get to it, but
Jeez.
all right, who's going to do the Comtech roll?
Happy to do it, and I guess I get a +1 for help.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andy's character can help you, to be sure.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, very good.
Is this to reconnect to the ship?
Yeah, to reconnect to the ship and get everything back back pressurized and everything.
Gotcha.
2 stunts. I don't know that. Well, I don't know. Whatever you want to do with the stunts.
Good question. Comtech half the time, and hey, new and unexpected information. Just
Okay.
to keep the team on his toes.
Not sure how unexpected it is, but it's definitely confirmation. The Wayland Yutani PDT chip of Max Decker's alter ego, um, that you guys used to land on GBH 45, is pinging inside one of the air ducts in the ship, so his body's definitely on board. So, all right, you guys reconnect, and the ship is repressurizing. After a few minutes, Apollo announces lifeboat secure, Magellan pressure returned to nominal.
Well, let's retrieve Max's body.
We first query the ship to see if there's any life forms aboard before we
Make a Comtech roll with a +2 for the advanced sensors on the ship. 3
Look at you go.
successes. Yeah, that's a lot of nice. No, nothing but you guys, and you do have 2 stunts though. Not sure what good they'll be for this one, but it's your call.
new and unexpected information and new and unexpected information.
I'll let you pick something else because unfortunately there really is no new and unexpected information in this case.
Just do it in half the time, I guess, to get us faster on this ship. And
Can you get +1 in a future Comtech roll?
well, don't
Can
need
you,
to,
get an extra die on a future Comtech roll?
don't need to overcome this again.
Oh, that's even better. Automatic success next time you use your sensors.
Yes,
That'll work.
Yep.
That'll work. So we'll move you guys back up to the main deck of the ship. Let me delete that neomorph. As you guys step foot back on Magellan, because their Apollo sensors are quite clear. There's nothing else on board. Who's going into the duct to retrieve Max's body?
I'll do it.
Yeah, Rudy.
Careful with any samples you can find up there. Waste not, want not.
Oh God.
I just had a bizarre sound. Give me just 1 second. I just got an odd notification. I'm just not sure what it was. All right, there we go. No big deal. All right, Rudy, as you go into that duct off the bridge, um, you're following the ping of the PDT. You're being directed. It looks like Max's body actually got caught and went into a duct that connected the sub level, the sub deck with the main deck. And when you went down there, it emptied into a small maintenance area where you found his body. Where it looks like at that point the airflow, the air currents had just stopped. So that's why it didn't blow out into space, as your guess, because it's just in the middle of this room. And I'm going to give you a point of stress, Rudy. For one,
Look,
seeing Max's body, big gaping hole right in his chest where something, pierced right through him. You're sure it's the tail of the creature you blew into space. But I'm going to give you another point of stress, and I'll tell you why. As you kind of look around in the dim lighting that's in the ducts, there's pictures on the walls of this small area. They're hand drawn, it seems, and you just kind of start to look in. It's a little bit of
what
wonderment,
the fuck?
but it's terrible awe as
What?
you turn around and around and around, and you're just seeing these drawings on white paper, possibly with pen or some kind of coal medium, and they're almost you look at them, some of them are practically anatomical.
What in the world?
In our ship.
In your ship,
I am so freaking creeped out right now.
you you vaguely recognize a couple of them. Obviously, this one right here looks a bit like the head of the creature you guys fought, and you've seen these before, to be sure. Um, you have no idea what this abomination represents, or this egg pod, or whatever it is, seed pod. You're not sure. I mean, you've certainly got what appears to be an artist representation of a dissected head. And then and of course, that head, it's familiar to you. It's got the exaggerated features, the large bridge nose and chin of those statue heads you saw back on GBH 45. And then you've got this one, which just looks like a human woman. And then, no idea what's going on with that. Yeah.
These are all hand drawn.
They are hand drawn.
I don't even know.
And in
what
fact,
to
make an
think.
observation roll.
Okay.
A success with all the stress. There's a pencil, an old school pencil that's kind of wedged in against some machinery. Probably was being blown by the explosive decompression, explosive decomposition, by the explosive decompression, and rather than make it out one of the vents and eventually out into space. It looks like it just got wedged in between, part of the duct and a pipe. You imagine that was the weapon of choice for these drawings.
Wow. That's nuts.
What would you like to do,
So,
Rudy?
is this from the Android, man? Is this where he was hiding out? Must be. Okay, so seeing as how, Rudy's character, the character history of Rudy,
Hmm.
um, is it, is there any chance that she could ascertain a synthetic origin from these drawings based on how she knows, human minds work, with her empathy stuff versus how synthetic minds work? Like, is some of this stuff like exact, like a machine scale replica of something, or is it a human interpretation of something?
Wow, that is an extremely complex question.
Like, could she detect, how AI makes art nowadays?
I see
If you
what you're
see enough
saying.
of it, you could kind of tell it was made by machine.
That's a really interesting discussion that actually Andy and I had last week, because we were talking about AI bots and some of the art they're producing. All started by that big hubbub over the guy saying that he won an art contest based on something Midjourney did.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, you haven't seen that?
No.
Oh, look it
You
up.
see a lot more of that.
Yeah, look it up. Guy entered an art contest with something and won a fantasy art contest, and after he won, he revealed that it was done by Midjourney. Now, other information has come out since then, and that other information says that Midjourney didn't exclusively do this. Midjourney developed the base image, and then he did some other stuff to it. So, but it caused this huge uproar in the artist community that's still somewhat ongoing. The idea that AI is going to replace artists. You
Did
know.
you hear there was actually a published paper that was accepted that was written by an AI describing itself and referencing other journal articles.
Yeah, I did see
That's
that.
awesome.
It's insane. I mean,
Well, this AI art stuff is something close to home for me because for years and years I worked as a freelance illustrator and photographer. And I started that whole journey in the early 90s as a commercial artist doing backgrounds for photographers and also working in photography studios, doing custom painting and stuff all over the country. And I feel like I had a front row seat um, for the demise of the portrait studio when it came to photography. I saw it happen. I saw digital take over. I saw what it did to like consumer perception of how photography is done. I saw, basically, um, it impacted my livelihood. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that was my full-time gig for a while, and we had to give it up because the market changed so much. And that's a direct result of digital technology advancing the way that it did. And now it just breaks my heart to see this AI art stuff doing what it's doing, because the same thing that happened to portrait photographers is going to happen to freelance artists. It's inevitable. I don't understand how there's a percentage of artists that see this stuff and then go on about like, oh, look at the hands, look at the hair. And I look at it and I'm like, are you kidding me, man? 6 months ago, these things couldn't even do faces. And now they're doing these
yeah,
works of art that, yes, it truly at this very stage, if you were to try to, some of this artwork is just not all the way there. So you need like a professional artist to tweak it. But already that's a huge improvement. And what's going to happen in 6 months? Like these things will be, way past needing any help to be like, passable on a professional level. Yeah, that's people are like, well, you have to adapt. No, no, it'll kill the marketplace, is what it'll
yeah.
do.
I mean, it's making wagon wheels again, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
there it is. I mean, that's a cool picture. It's
I mean, if art obviously is a personal is a personal thing. You don't need it doesn't have to impact your personal joy for painting. But as far as like a professional market, absolutely, it's going to devastate it. Why would you pay an artist rate and deal with the timetable it takes, 2 weeks for a finished illustration when you could have
Yeah,
Mid
right.
Journey or Stable Diffusion make you a book cover in
in minutes.
2 minutes? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
Like,
all
it's
you have to
over,
do is
guys.
pay
It's
their
over.
monthly subscription.
Yeah, and you could have your $15 an hour graphic art student, put the finishing touches on it.
My mom actually went through a similar thing because she was an artist, and still is, still paints. But she used to, back in the day, there used to be big art shows almost every weekend in the malls, right? So you would, when I was a kid, I got dragged to all the local malls while my mom put up her paintings and sold them there. And I remember when mass-produced art hit the market, probably in the late '70s, or maybe mid to late '70s or early '80s, and that really fucked her up too because you could just go and pick up something that looks like it was painted and it's a copy, instead of a original. Um, they had exhibitors that had nothing but the mass produced art at these shows after a while, and my mom's competing. One painting could take her a week to make, and she wasn't selling them for all that much. But yeah, that sucks.
Well,
Yeah, I see this as like
you
it's a
see,
tsunami of it's a disaster for freelance artists. It's a disaster of tsunami proportions. It's not it's
you
not a
see
little thing.
those two I posted right there.
Yeah, yeah.
The one on the left is excuse me, no problem. The one on the left is castle on rocky promontory overlooking dark forest pre-dawn photographic quality. And that's
Oh,
what it produced. That's all I typed
wow.
in and that's what it made.
Which system are you using?
That was Mid Journey.
That's Journey. Okay.
And the one on the right, and keeping in mind that was just using the free for they give you like 15 pictures free or whatever.
Hmm.
This isn't upscaled or anything. This is just what it spat out. And then the
Yeah.
one on the right was black armored figure with sword standing amidst a crashing wave of red. And that's what it produced.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know what the answer is for the actual artist because as someone who writes, I fear AI bots writing novels.
I I
It's sort of
sus-
inevitable.
they say that some of the articles that are clickbait out there, and I've clicked on a few of them. Some of them, I don't know if it's my paranoia or there are bots writing clickbait articles,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And so I read it and I'm like, I don't know, it sounded a little off, but it was damn good, and I thought it was. I couldn't tell. It might have been written by a real person. There were a
On,
few sentences that just
on the
kind
other
of
hand,
repeated themselves, and not quite.
if the novels written by bots are as hysterical as we forced a bot to read 100 Superman comics and then it wrote its own, oh my God,
Those are
some of
so
those are
good.
hilarious.
Those are
Oh, is
so
it
good.
hilarious?
Oh yeah, it's
But
so
AI
ridiculous.
learns so fast. It's hilarious right now.
Yeah.
But, a year
Well,
from now, when
uh,
they're able to inject, themes and irony and foreshadowing and suspense and character arcs, when they're able to manage all that crap, it won't be quite so funny
and
Yeah.
because they'll be able to do it better than 99% of all human authors.
keeping in mind also AI as it currently stands isn't technically really AI. It's there's no actual intelligence. It's still producing content based on a provided set of parameters.
Right. It's not a
Based
general AI, but it's still an intelligence of a sort, even though like a chess computer is not a general AI, but it can still.
I just mean it's not independent thought. It's not intelligence from the standpoint as defining intelligence as sentience.
Right.
Right.
So,
That's true, but it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be to completely master something and make us look like chimps banging rocks.
yeah, well, that may be true.
I
So
mean,
back
AI is
to
just about better at everything than we are right now.
it's a terrifying thought, isn't it?
It is. There's almost nothing that computers can't do better. They pick juries better. They predict like recidivism with criminals better. I mean, we're already like getting outclassed. It's just not obvious yet, but this is a sign to me of like this is coming, man. This is what's going to happen.
Well, and back to Rudy's question about this, Rudy, I will let you make an observation roll, but I would like you to put in as a modifier the difference between your wits and your empathy, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Because basically, I'm letting you do observation using empathy instead of wits, if that makes sense.
cool beans. All right, here goes. And my stress is involved in this as well. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
One success, but
That's a lot of
fortunately,
dice.
in Alien, all you need is one. So beyond the obvious thoughts that these images, whether they're original or whether they're representations of something, certainly seem to come from perhaps a disturbing or sick mind. Um, what there is about them is an immense precision. Okay. Um, the sense that you get is that every line, every curve, every shading, everything has been done in precisely the way it was meant to be done. There's no indication that there was a single mistake made anywhere on any of these, from the standpoint of maybe that smudge where something was erased and redone or something along those lines, like you would see with an artist, as if they were done perfectly and concisely the way they were meant to be done the first time, with a high degree of precision. Also, the concern of how long has it been since you guys left GBH 45? 7 days? Um, could a human artist produce these kinds of works this quickly, this precisely in 7 days? You don't know. Maybe he brought them with him. You're not sure. Except for the pencil that is there wedged in against the ductwork. So, does that answer your question?
I believe it does.
All right. So what's the plan, Rudy? Captain Rudat?
Well, I will collect up these freaky deaky drawings and the pencil and roll them up and take Max's body back to the cryo room.
All right. I think we can delete the drawings. Everyone knows what they look like.
Yeah, everyone's scarred.
That was the hope. So, bringing him back in the drawings, everybody, I guess, is together in cryo. Of course, Vickers' body is. Oh, I don't know if Vickers' body is even there. If there's just a big bloody. Let's see. We'll say even he's there. Odd he's not. Oh, he's there. His body got pulled out of the cryo tube, but by the decompression, but didn't quite make it out the door. Probably the cryo tube gave him a little bit of cover from all the air blowing past. So you've got Vickers' body as well as abdomen splayed open. Giant
This is
cavity
terrible.
there.
This is terrible. This shit is dark.
You know what game we're playing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry, Jim. I got something
Guys,
for you. What's
well,
up?
It's all good.
we obviously we need to bag or preserve these bodies. Mamie / Rose, their team is going to want to look at them, right?
Of course.
I don't want Mamie looking at our crewmates
Yes.
like that.
I know, but
Screw that. Let's
it's
just
about information.
let's just get them back home to their families.
Survival of the species, people. Let's imagine probably at least 10K per body.
And
I mean,
yeah.
Such a tragedy.
Okay, and I hate to tell you guys this, but I think this makes me the pilot.
Sorry.
The same way it makes me the medic.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't have nearly as many dice, but I do have my piloting dice. I do have 5
Actually, brother, I think I got you beat.
in piloting. Well, then maybe you're the
Yeah,
pilot.
I might have
And
to.
the
Yeah.
medic. Congrats.
I have rudimentary skill, but my agility's pretty high.
Look at me. I'm the
So I have
captain
8.
now.
I have 8 dice.
Oh man, you must have a very high agility.
Yeah, she's not strong, and but she is very quick.
All right, well then you're the pilot. Thank God.
I am not very confident in my abilities. Just so you,
Yeah,
before you praise me.
but 8 dice. That's all right. And then the other thing is,
Still less than Max had, I'm sure.
so the question for the game master is, um, Max was so adroit because of his experience at programming in the coordinates for the um, FTL. You didn't really make him do any piloting roles to put us into FTL and get us where we're going. Is that going to be true for Rudy? Is it something that can basically be done, or are there some roles that are necessary?
No, I'd say there's some roles that are necessary.
And if it's Comtech roles to do the programming, then maybe Rudy should instruct somebody what should be done and let somebody else do the Comtech.
Yeah, it's probably a Jake thing.
It sounds reasonable.
And and keeping in mind also, Max was fixing Apollo when all this went down, so someone's going to have to finish that work as well.
Yeah, and that's not me. But I will take this time to let my stress go down because there's no way I can try and do maintenance on this ship with a stress of 7.
Yeah, no, at this point, I think that you guys, despite how grim and perhaps sorrowful this affair is, I think that you guys are in a situation where health will be regained and stress will be dropped.
Okay.
So, I'm
Well,
going
just
to
make sure that before I try and do any maintenance, I'm going to wait till my stress is down to 0. So that's going to be an hour or so.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to get in a conversation with Jim real quick. Hold on one second, guys. You guys can talk among yourselves or what have you. Let me see here. Jim, you hear me, right?
oh yeah.
Does anybody else hear me?
I think we're good.
We're good. All right. So, I gave you access to a character,
Oh, great.
Blake Jones.
Nice.
Okay. So let me tell you about Blake Jones, and
Okay.
you probably already have an idea about this, but we're just going to go through it in a little more detail. Let me get my PDF here.
Wow, he's got a lot of health.
Yeah. Of course, his equipment is wrong. He doesn't have any of that equipment because the android blew it all out the airlock.
Okay, so I should just delete all that, huh?
Yeah, that's fine. Or you can leave it there. You'll have your chance to resupply. Blake Jones, a.k.a. Corporal USCMC KIA Dwayne Hicks. Unlike the official story, Dwayne Hicks did not die in the EEV crash on Fury 161. He awoke from cryo when USS Sulaco returned to dock at the original Anchor Point station. When a new form of XX-121 outbreak occurred there, Hicks endeavored to lead a small band through the ruined station to reach lifeboats before the fusion reactor went critical, set to do so by a poor bishop.
Right.
Have you read that book?
What's the title of it?
It's the Alien 3 script.
Yeah, I think I did the audiobook of it. I having a hard time remember the
That's
plot
fine.
points, but yeah, I have an idea.
So long story short, Hicks and Bishop and one other survivor were picked up by a UPP in a UPP interceptor. You guys were saved by a UPP interceptor as you were literally traversing the outside of the station in magnetized spacesuits.
Okay.
USS Kansas City picked you guys up after you guys were just out in space, the station having already been destroyed. So officially, Anchor Point Station blew up a few years ago, and no one knows why. Of course, you know why.
Right.
You came to realize that you knew too much, that you'd never be free from Weyland-Yutani and even certain elements of the Colonial Marine Corps. While planetside on R&R, you managed to disappear, and you have, honestly, you had been looking for Ellen Ripley, because Ellen Ripley was saved with you and was on Anchor Point. You ejected her out of a lifeboat before Anchor Point blew up. Newt is back on Earth living with her grandparents in Oregon or something.
Cool.
But you never found Ripley. You like I said, you managed to disappear. You began to hear rumors of an incident on Fury 161, which was in the vicinity of Anchor Point, and you were trying to figure out how to check that out. You traveled to New Eden Sector, which is ICSC space, hoping to find a way to look for Ripley. You got confronted by a shadowy figure, literally in an alley. He was much bigger and much stronger than you, which is funny because he's much older than you are. His name is Paul Verhoeven.
Okay.
He owns and runs Strategic Solutions Incorporated, and you basically threw in with him. Over the last couple of years, you become kind of his right-hand man in field operations. He rarely goes into the field himself. You've spent a number of you've spent some, like I said, some years working for him. You're very familiar with XX121, obviously, not just because of Hadley Hope, but you fought him other times in the past.
Right.
So, and you know that a lot of the technology that SSI has is actually derived from the Yautja. You carry an ARM computer, which has very limited cloaking capability. Nothing like what the Yautja has, but it also has a small explosive device in it. Not as powerful as what the Yautja have, but it's something that you guys have derived from Yautja tech, as well as to some extent, the weapons and armor that SSI have is all stuff that you guys have specifically designed to confront these threats.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
yeah, very cool.
And you know Rose Whitehill well. You don't know a lot about her, but you know she used to be a spy for the UA, and that's about all you know about it. She knows a lot of different languages. She has contacts everywhere. SSI's lead scientist is a woman named Katori Khan that used to work for Weyland-Yutani. She's kind of the head for everything they're trying to do.
Okay.
Last but not least, you know that SSI, its headquarters is not on Earth, like the official registry says it's in Cartagena, but in reality it's on Grendel, which is an ICSC world. Paul Verhoeven struck a deal with the planetary government on Grendel to put SSI there. And SSI sells weapons to the ICSC. That's how it finances a lot of what it does. So.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That was a lot of background in a short amount of time. Hopefully I didn't miss something. But if something comes up you should know, I'll let you know.
Yeah. And I actually have Alien 3. I think it's like a comic. I think that's the one, right?
Yeah, I've got I don't have the comic. I have the hardcover, the novelization of it, but yeah.
The novelization, okay. Yeah, no, I'll check it out.
Okay.
No, it's awesome.
And
that's nice.
Just so you know, Hicks does only have one eye. that acid splash that hit him at the end of the second movie. But
Yeah.
his stats, because having only one eye gives you a -2 to observation and range combat, that's already
Yeah.
accounted for in his stats.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right, so, and then
Beautiful.
beyond that, you should
So,
probably just take a minute to figure out his character sheet.
yep.
Cool.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks.
Cool.
Standard thing we should do before we go to sleep.
All right, guys, we're back. Thanks for your
We
patience.
just okay. We
I
were
don't
just
know. I can Jim give us a quick test uh, uh, voice, because for me, you and him are like whited out. Your avatars are whited out. I'm wondering if I need to reconnect.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I hear you. Okay.
I hear you guys, just don't see your avatars. Not that I need to. I'm not going to reconnect because I don't trust Roll20.
Yeah, it's because I put us on a private chat.
Because you're special.
Hey, how do you guys? I'm trying to figure out how to change my player avatar. The picture for that. I'm not sure how to do that.
The bottom,
How did you guys get?
bottom right, just below your chat bar, there's a as. Drop down and choose your character. Is that what you're doing?
Oh, look at that. Okay, learn something new every day. Wonderful.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that was a pretty handy thing they implemented.
6. Okay. All right.
I got to change my name in the box too. How does that happen? It still says Pilot Magster.
oh yeah, what you have to do then is go to the gear up in the right hand corner, and then you see it'll pop up display name.
Personalization and display.
Yeah,
Oh, there it is. Got it.
and then
Okay.
you see display name.
Got it. Okay.
And then let's see, how many story points did you have, Jim? You had 1. So,
I had 1 left, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll click that on your character sheet. And I did not determine a buddy, rival, and personal agenda for you, so I'll let you kind of figure that out.
I got. Yeah, I know what to do.
Okay, perfect.
Excellent.
All right. So Jim is taking over Blake Jones, SSI.
You spelled Blake wrong.
Oh.
Mike Jones. Okay.
Yeah, this sounds like a 70s exploitation film.
Yeah, it does.
Black Joe.
Yeah.
Don't mess with him.
Yeah, bad shaft.
That's,
All right, so you're going to be Blake. We were speculating that it was taking so long because you might be having him take over Andy's old character.
I considered that. But yeah, we'll leave Andy as NPC for now, just in case. I'll have to let Jesse know he died. I feel a little bad about that, but
not a lot. Just a little.
All right. So what's the plan, crew?
All right. Well,
So we were discussing how we were going to put in place a new SOP before we go into cryo, which is to have the computer do a system check, ship-wide check for intruders from now on.
and we could at the same time do a walk down. We just took it. We got on the ship. Now it was a big emergency. We rushed on the ship and we went out into space.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But then we had time before we jumped to FTL, and we just assumed the ship and everything was fine. And that was a bad assumption.
Is it possible for us to bring sidearms into the cryo tubes? That was something else we were talking about, and we just don't know.
Yeah, I would say it's possible. It's not generally done, obviously, but yeah, you could do that.
I think from now on, that's going to be part of our SOP too. Is you go night with some defensive instrument.
So basically, what we're saying is the next time we go into cryo, we're going to take an extra 4 hours of game time to secure the ship, thanks to our gene.
Yeah, we're going to try to drink away the PTSD from this last encounter.
Okay, so somebody's got to get back to work putting Apollo back together.
I believe you may have just
Somebody with
volunteered.
Comtech. Somebody with Comtech.
Oh, you don't have that. You have heavy machinery. That's right.
Correct.
I will.
Meanwhile,
Yep. Jake will liberate a SSSD, and he will go sit in Apollo and just
Yeah,
start trying to
Max's
figure it
Max's
out.
SSDD's probably sitting right there in Apollo because he was using it. So
Yeah, that's a nice little bonus if you have it.
it's
Well,
got
Jake,
Max's blood on it, though.
while Jake is doing that, Rudy will make sure that the bodies are in bags, put in cryo, and then she will set about trying to locate our assigned inventory of stuff. Silos.
When did we get a dog on ship?
He's a virtual dog.
Oh, okay.
It's like a virtual aquarium.
Your,
He just barks.
your
That's it.
Terminator detection device is going off.
All right,
Yeah.
Dwayne is going to start walking down the ship looking to see if any other of the mechanical systems have been damaged or messed up. I'm going to take my time and be meticulous.
yeah, that's fine. No, everything looks good.
Okay.
It seems that Apollo was the only thing that was seriously screwed with before you guys woke up, because obviously he was damaging the ship systems after you guys had woken up and probably trying to force you guys into different areas would be your thought. But
All right.
everything looks good.
So while I'm doing a checkout of the entire ship, walk down, in my business, that's called a walk down.
Right.
So while I'm doing a walk down of the ship and checking everything and checking lockers and different areas, are there any weapons on the ship whatsoever, or is it clear that somehow they've just been jettisoned?
They're all gone.
Okay.
You have no weaponry. You have Blake Jones's armor's gone. Even your bolt gun. About the only thing that could be used as a weapon would be like your maintenance jack as a club. But since you did a walk down of the whole ship, I will tell you one thing. Because no one's gone into the science lab. And in the science lab, which... Do I have you guys on the main deck? I do have you on the main deck. So in the science lab, which is here, that urn that you recovered from GBH 45, Jake and Mitchell had secured it before going into cryo. The urn is in the science lab, just on the counter. And it looks like, for lack of a better word, it looks like the top is off. And sitting on the lab counter are two glass spindles. That's what they look like. They almost look like the spindles of a banister, or that type of thing. But they're made out of glass, and they're just sitting. There's actually three of them. Two of them are sitting on the counter to one side. The third is right next to the urn, and it looks as if it's been broken into two pieces.
I'm going to get on the comms. Rudy, could you come down to the science lab?
Right away.
Jake, you keep working on Apollo. Crap. What's Andy's character's name, the other scientist?
Dr. Mitchell Roman.
Mitchell Roman. Dr. Roman, would you come to the science lab?
All right, so Rudy and Mitchell show up.
What do you make of this, you guys?
Yeah, I think Mitchell's face probably blanches a bit when he sees, because, he and Jake had outright agreed not to. They were pretty sure that the urn opened, but they outright agreed not to open it, and they secured it.
They put it inside containment, right?
Yeah, they did.
And now it's out and
now
open.
It's out and open. I would think that Mitchell looks at it and says, well, I think it's safe to assume that those came out of the urn. Um, and as he looks at them, and obviously he's not touching anything, he knows better, right? But two of the glass spindles, as you guys kind of look at them a little more closely, you can see a black fluid inside them. The third one that I told you looked like it was broken in two pieces. Maybe broken's not the right word because it's made out of glass and it doesn't look like the glass itself is broken. It's just been, however it opens, or it's been opened up and there's no fluid inside that.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it, Doc. That synth, that's where you got that crap to inject me and Vickers.
Well,
Don't you think?
yeah, Andy says that. I mean, he was going to inject me first. I woke up in medical,
Oh,
strapped
that's
down.
right. So that's where he got it. Just think if we had left that urn, if we'd left that urn behind, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Vickers would still be alive. Whose idea was it to bring that urn? Oh, wait a minute. I'm the one who had it in my backpack.
You're the one who carried it, but I
Vickers.
don't think it
Oh
was
my
your
God,
idea.
ultimately I killed my buddy.
Vickers and Max.
Dang.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you feel
Guess I
worse.
can take that point away on you.
Max would be alive too. Not to make you feel worse. Just saying. If you take responsibility for one, you might as well take responsibility
Hey,
for both.
hey guys, Ripley's whole crew would have survived except for Kane if they had just left Kane outside like they were supposed to.
Yeah. That's right. If they had followed the rules. You're
That's
right.
Oh well, things happen. Mistakes were made.
Oh yeah. Huh.
So now what do we do?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm in the somewhere near or hearing all this, I think first thing we need to do is get weapons. We can't do that again. We can't go through that again, right?
Yeah, I mean the ship's on course for Grendel. It's just it's not in FTL right now. It's in normal drive.
Yeah, and I wouldn't feel good trying to jump to FTL till Apollo's fixed.
Yeah, which will be a couple more hours.
Well, we're doing a full scrub down of the ship. As far as scrub down, I mean inspection. So that's probably going to take a while. But we want to make sure there's no sabotage devices.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, Doc, is this thing's been opened and tried to inject you with it, did inject me, and I'm still. I think you should do a physical on me every day, and we need to watch until.
Is there any of the fluid left?
Well, there's two cylinders left.
Like
that have not been
urn.
opened.
Is the urn like still full, or is it?
Oh no, the urn itself has nothing in it. Mitchell hypothesized that the glass spindles or vases, whatever they are, I guess that's what you would call it, as a vase, came out of the urn, and they have the black fluid inside them, except for the one that's open. Yeah, Mitchell says I should put a hazmat suit on, get all this secured again.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is there residue on anything? Is there a way you can check to see if there's any residue? Are we breathing in stuff? We don't know. So
Apollo could do that. Apollo could tell you
then Apollo's being repaired, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that.
Well, I'm going to let the doc take care of this, and I'm getting the heck out of this room because if there could be something airborne, I don't want to keep breathing it.
Fair enough. We'll fast forward this a bit, a couple hours, unless anyone has anything specifically they want to add. Dr. Mitchell Roman gets that all secured. He doesn't seal the urn back up. He just at this point just leaves it open, but he just
cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, exactly. But he puts everything in containment. He probably does make mention to Jake that he'd like to study the black liquid in a little more detail because it's obviously the same stuff, or at least on some level it's the same compound that they saw used elsewhere, and because Max had mentioned seeing it. Well, and Blake saw it as well. Raining down on the colony at GBH 45. You guys saw it in the recordings of Alpha Casea too.
Yep.
And even Mamie Knight, or Rose Whitehill, I should say, mentioned that there were reports of it having been used in other places, 61 Cygni and Kruger 60 systems. So, obviously, again, Mitchell would have some interest in doing some in-depth studies on it, but this probably isn't maybe the right time. Maybe back when they're planet side or with SSI, where they have access to better equipment. I don't know what Jake has to add to that.
Okay. Well,
there is no contamination, by the way.
Okay. And something the autodoc said that, or Jake told me it said, was that the stuff that was injected into me seemed to be inert, and that my kidneys should remove it and dump it out through my urine. I'd like one of the docs to take some blood and see if the concentration has gone down significantly, because it's been hours.
Right. Yeah, we can do that. Jake, if you want to do that, you can make just call it an observation roll. Yeah, one success. It is obviously it's still there, but because your body hasn't cycled through enough yet. But yes, it's definitely decreased in Dwayne's bloodstream.
So has Jake figured out the biological half-life?
Probably yes, but I haven't done the math on that, so we're just going to...
I'll do the math later. If you just tell me what percentage it was then and what percentage it is now and what the time was, that's an easy calculation.
Right, exactly.
It's an exponential decay.
But Jake, you're certain Dwayne's going to be just fine.
Okay. All right. So where does that leave us? Apollo's now fixed.
Yep.
And I've checked out the ship, and it's not broken anymore.
Do a heavy machinery roll for me, Dwayne.
Oh, okay. Haven't done one of those in a while. Am I doing anything in particular?
No.
All right. So maintenance. We'll ignore the maintenance jack.
Yeah, everything's tip-top.
Okay. Tip-top. Pulp Fiction. As far as I know, it's tip-top.
That's right. Don't get me out on the road and let me find out the brake lights don't work.
How about you, Lance LaRue? Can you keep your spurs from jingling and jangling? All right. So, all right. So, Rudy, I guess, Captain Rudy.
Yeah.
Do we get ready to jump to FTL?
I think so. I mean, Mamie, what was the last thing? Where were we supposed to meet her?
The planet is called Grendel. It is
the Grendel. That's right. Yes,
I'll
we could forget.
move you to the
Me apparently.
star map. Grendel. Whoa! Darn it! I hate it when I do that. I click the wrong thing.
I hate it when that happens.
There we go. Grendel is way down here. It's an independent planet. That's what on the star map. That's what yellow is. Yellow is ICSC, which is Independent Core Systems Colonies. The ICSC is, for lack of a better explanation, the ICSC is basically a loose confederation of planets and colonies that aren't part of any of the Earthbound governments.
Okay.
So you guys have a good while to get there. You're talking 72 days in FTL.
If it's all the same with everybody, I'm sorry, my wife's dropping her pills. I think Rudy's gonna stay out of cryo for a little while, just to stand guard.
Well, you're a synth, so you can stay out
Yep,
a
she's
long
gonna
time.
stay out for a while.
Well, I appreciate that. That'll make me feel at ease.
Let's take a break.
Yeah, I need to get some lunch.
Yeah, come back in a few minutes and we'll go from there.
We'll do
Roger.
Alien the accounting.
Yeah.
Alien the accounting. That's the best
Okay.
part.
Yeah. All right.
That one too.
Yeah.
Dwayne, can you hear everybody?
Yeah. Well, I've
Excellent.
heard Jim. Nobody else, and I hear you. I haven't heard the other two guys talk yet.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
Test.
Gotcha.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Needed to make sure because as we started coming back, people couldn't hear other people. We had to do a
Right.
whole bunch of jockeying around.
I just reconnected and everyone came back.
Okay, perfect. Good. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, did I? I'm a bad game master. I closed my PDF. Hate it when I do that. All right. So, if you guys are good with it, I'm gonna skip us ahead a little bit. And
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm skipping ahead is fine, but were we expecting some Comtech or piloting roles to jump to FTL?
no, I don't think that's necessary because the
Okay.
course is already set.
Gotcha. All right.
Don't remind the GM. Doesn't want us to make them. It's all good.
Don't ask the teacher for homework.
Sheldon.
All right, so to move it ahead a little bit, you guys awaken from cryo. They rather grim reminder as there's only 5 of you now, and instead of 7. As you guys wake up and look around at each other, you can't help but feel like there's people missing. And of course, you remember why. You are in the system NN4285, and you're on approach to Grendel. You will be there shortly, based on what the computer's telling you. So there are a number of well, you guys tell me what you do, but I'm assuming everyone kind of gets their clothes on and saunters to the bridge type thing. Oh, I'm sure you
Yeah.
did, Dwayne. I'm sure you did. I'm sure everybody had nightmares in cryo.
All right. So we're heading. Yeah, I'll head up to the bridge after taking my. What are those rehydration tablets called?
Yeah, that's what they're called, hydration
Oh.
tablets. Yeah, specifically the brand is that's the brand specifically.
I cleaned up last session. I cleaned up the ship stores a bit. Should be easier to manage now.
Especially with all your weapons and stuff gone.
Yeah, right. Right. That is what you keep track of. Oh, Let me see if that's still in there. It's consumables. Nope, you got rid of all those.
Oh yeah, I took care of it for you. Don't worry.
So
We still have our apples though.
Yeah. We have a discussion to have before we meet up with Rose and her team. We have two of those. I don't know if vial isn't the right word. What did you call those glass?
They like I said, they look like spindles from an old-fashioned wood handrail or banister, but it would seem that the best word to describe them would be vase, because they're glass and they
Okay.
have a fluid inside them.
Anyway, we have two of those glass containers with the black stuff in it. So the question we have to decide is, do we keep one for ourselves and give them one, or do we give them both? It's a question of what we're getting paid to do versus,
Well,
not.
I'm not sure. As much as I love to have that stuff aboard and to investigate it, I'm not sure we're equipped or have the expertise to. So I would either hand it over or sell it.
All right. Well,
Well, I would say let's
But
see if our employer would be, interested in buying it from us, since they seem to be the most ethical. If not,
Well,
then we should powwow and see who else.
remember, our employer thinks they paid us for it. Because remember, we were on a mission to get intelligence and bring stuff back. So they may believe that commercially and ethically they have right to everything that we brought back. So
Well,
I don't feel comfortable selling. Well, whatever. If we get maybe Rudy could use her magic command skills again and and get us a bonus.
that
Guys,
would be
here's my 2 cents, just to put them out there, since that's what we're talking about. This to me seems like it is more than anything else a deadly weapon, right? Like this is the new frontier of bioweaponry, some kind of gene bomb that you can rain down on a planet and kill everything instantly.
Yep.
I don't think Rudy wants to have like anything to do with this. You know what I mean? Like this is the hottest potato in the universe, and anybody holding this is going to want. People are going to be after it. People are going to want it. People are going to come looking for this stuff.
GM comment on that. At this point, every major government, well, not the ICSC, but the UPP, the UA, and the 3WE, all three of them have been a victim of a bombing from this stuff at this point. So
yeah, it's like the most horrible,
Well, and on top of that, Weyland Yutani is already trying to weaponize it, right?
Like I think the last thing we want to do is get involved in some kind of shady backroom deal trying to sell this stuff to the highest bidder. I say we just get rid of it.
Yeah,
and if we want to pull a power play with our employer, let's get them to do the right thing by the family.
I don't know if is Blake in the room when you guys are discussing this?
This is something else I wanted to talk about. Is we don't know anything about Blake or how much of a company man he is.
Right.
So it would be good to like role play that out a little bit, or find out more about who this Blake is, and can we trust him? Can we just integrate him as part of our crew, or do we even have these discussions in front of him?
We don't have these discussions in front of him. We don't trust him yet. I don't trust him.
And also, we don't know if he's going to return into the fold after this. So we first need to see what Mimi says about Blake and what's going on.
Right.
Now he was there in a pinch when we needed him. Although,
yes, but I mean, he might not come with us after this.
No, I understand.
Well, I fully understand what you're saying. Like in a real world situation, like we would never trust him. We wouldn't. Yeah, but I just from like a make the game easier point of view, to include Jim and everything instead of having to discuss this stuff behind Jim's back because we don't trust his new character. If we could just,
I can go ahead and I can discount like I'm not hearing it. You don't actually have to hide it from me, but I got a pretty good background from Marty about who Blake is, and so yeah, we can when you guys figure out how you want to role play that,
Yeah.
that'll be
Because
good.
I'm totally willing to just if we wanted to just game the game and just say yeah, we get a good feeling about Blake, that's good enough for me. Move forward so that we can have like our gaming sessions be
Well, and
streamlined.
what I'm willing to say is that this first discussion is just us, and that we'll basically blend him in quickly as our characters gain trust. So I
Oh
would
no,
just
wait,
say,
don't bend him. Sorry.
yeah, I said blend, blend. At any rate, but getting back to our main point is, I don't feel. I would strongly object to try and sell any of this stuff on the black market. If anything, we're going to give it all to Rose and her team, but Rudy, maybe you try and work a bonus out of it somehow, because after all, we did lose two crew members, and when you said getting their bodies back to their families, there should also be as much recompense as we can put together from this. They should get their share of whatever funds that we can get for it to help. Nothing can make up for the loss of a family member, but whatever.
If we don't want their bodies poked around and operated on and tested and all that crap, then we should jettison them in space and give them a proper funeral too. Just thinking out loud.
I think it's
The
more productive if we give them the bodies and ask them for compensation, both for us and for the families. If we just jettison, then probably there will be no monetary compensation.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd say that I'd say that we insist that they transport the body and their share of any funds back to the families. And then if they take samples from the bodies before they ship them, we have no idea that's happening. That's not my problem once they agree that they'll ship the bodies back.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that they're going to take samples, so I would rather capitalize on it than.
Well, our bargaining chip is the vials, not the bodies. I don't think.
I think
We
you're
can get
right.
rid of the bodies, and it's not going to matter.
I don't necessarily want to jettison them. I don't know what their customs are and whether it's important for them to have the bodies, or is it just
Well, I
that?
mean, it's a thing they do at sea, right? I mean, I'm
Oh no,
sure that it's a thing they do on spacecraft too.
I
Funeral in space.
I understand. What I'm saying is I don't know what their families would want.
I think it's guaranteed if we hand over their bodies, they're going to be like messed with. So if it bothers anybody, then we shouldn't hand them over.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we need the research and the funds. So I would hand them over.
All right. Well, how far are we from Grendel?
A few hours. I mean, you're certainly within range of raising space control or any, because there's a number of other ships in the area. Grendel's rather busy actually. Plenty of M class freighters and that type of thing. Probably have their own small police force with smaller G class corvettes, that type of thing.
All right. Well, I just did my maintenance roll.
I got it. Perfect.
Anyway, I'll leave all that to Rudy and the docks. I'm taking care of the ship. Hello?
Right. Anybody else want to do something, or can we get Mr. Jim to fast forward us?
Yeah, let's fast forward.
Yeah, unless you guys wanted to talk to Blake
Well-
at all, or
Right. So Blake is going to go and find at least Rudy.
okay.
Well, we can sit in the mess and have our first post cryo meal and talk all
Out
together.
of out of character, I would prefer to talk to Blake after we've had the Mimi conversation. Because Jake would see him as still a mercenary for hire, and he's going back to Mimi. So why bother getting to integrate him if we're not going to see him again? So hence why I want to forward to Mimi and then see what she does with Blake, and then we can buddy up with Blake.
All right, so no mess talking.
Well,
just
I don't know why
side
we
dropping
can't.
in the-
We can have a meal and talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing stops anybody from
Okay.
talking, getting to know the guy.
Yeah, if you just want to plain role play that, then sure. Yeah.
What I was wondering, what Dwayne will ask Blake over the meal is how many were in his team originally, because it's down to just Blake. He lost his team.
Are we have the conversation now, or are you just
Yeah, why not?
wondering on? Yeah. Okay. So let me collect my thoughts of what Blake would be saying. If you ask that question, yeah, we had a unit of 12, 11 we had to leave behind. They didn't make it, but this is the first time that I've been in a situation like this. You guys know almost as much as I do at this point, and what the danger is to us and to really any living life in the galaxy. This is heavy stuff. And I stopped there.
Okay, well,
He looks the way he looks sitting at the table. He looks like he's open to questions. He's not being defensive. He's emoting sorrow and frustration and some worry across his brow. You notice.
yeah, I'm looking for my notes. I can't find my notes from Mamie. I mean Rose. Rose, this is for the GM out of character.
Sure.
Rose works for a company or for a government?
She works for Strategic Solutions Incorporated.
Right, SSI.
Right.
Okay. And Blake, how long have you worked for SSI?
Out of character. What's the answer, Marty? What is it? 2 years?
About 3. Yeah, since
3 years.
81, and we're in 84 now.
Yeah. So I was recruited into SSI 3 years ago. Prior to that, I was with the Colonial Marines. I was recruited pretty unexpectedly after a tragic incident on a space station. And when I returned to Earth, I was asked to join SSI, and based on what I've seen before, it looks like SSI may be the only real chance to keep this menace from populating the entire galaxy.
Well, it don't take offense, but it looks like you've been through the ringer. Did the Marines discharge you on medical or something? Is that why you were recruited by SSI, or was your hitch up and they recruited you out?
All I can say about that is I left the Corps, and the Corps doesn't know where I went.
All right. Well,
I have no pride in being AWOL, and but this is the right thing to do with what's going on in the systems.
So that's why that Marine vessel freaked you out.
Yeah, if they find me, I'll probably be arrested and prosecuted for desertion. What I can say is that the values that my squad and the Marines held are consistent with what I see on this crew. I was lucky to get out of, and I forget the name of the planet we were on, with the where the rescue force came. What planet was that, Marty?
GBH 45.
Is it GBH? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I made it through GBH 45, but like I said, this isn't my first rodeo with these things. My first contact was about. Let me see. How long ago would that first episode have been? About 4 years ago, right?
5.
5 years ago.
Yep.
5 years ago, nobody that I knew of knew about these things that are coming from the goop. We were dispatched to a colony that lost communication and lost all of my crew, including the lieutenant, myself. I was hurt. I was able to escape, but everybody else was lost. Besides me, a woman, a very fucked up android, and a little girl. And since then, I've thrown in with SSI because of the things that we saw there and also after we left Acheron.
Well, we seem to be hip deep in this strange, messed up issue with genetic accelerant and xenomorphs.
Well,
all that. We've gone from mission to mission to mission where we've been in the shit.
And I'm afraid that's going to start happening to everybody in the galaxy soon if we don't put a stop to this. We're in the middle of it, but you can see how fast this contagion spreads. We can't let it get into the hands of rival governments that will want to use it on each other. We can't let that monster out of the box because it'll turn on you like you've seen. There's something else going on, and I haven't been able to figure it out, but it's old. These are old technologies and biologies. Mamie, is her name Mamie, the head of SSI, right?
Mamie Knight
No.
was
Knight.
what you originally knew her as.
Right, so now it's Rose.
Right, so it's Rose
Right.
Whitehill, but she's not the head of SSI. You know, she works for Paul Verhoeven.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Paul Verhoeven, right. I've been in their employ for 2 years now, right? 2 years?
Yeah.
I think it's 2 years. And whether you believe me or not, I can say honestly and attest to their commitment to eliminate this threat.
Well, I was working on the research center's reactor when everything started. But you were on the ground. Did you see this? Was it a ship or something that materialized on back on H-45?
We saw it. It's something that I've heard of before, but have never encountered. These ships, the goop, the creatures, it looks like they're in a war, and we might be the ants scurrying around on the ground trying to stay out of their way. If we can manage to mitigate one of those threats, then it'll be a lot easier for survival.
Well, did they? You were on the ground. When the ship materialized, did they drop some of this black stuff? Did they drop this black stuff and rain it down on the?
Yeah, very much. We saw when the rescue force landed, we did see the tail end of we saw the tail end of the C-shaped ship.
So
Drop
this ship
this
isn't.
rain.
So this ship isn't any known government, any technology of any known government. So
It's
we've
not
got
anything that the governments have seen before, or I've seen, or been briefed on.
So it's bad enough that we've got this threat dosing out this black crap everywhere, turning people into God knows what. Um, we can't have governments trying to weaponize it against each other.
That's what I want to make sure doesn't happen. This can't be weaponized. It's the same way that you could, if you would imagine having a neurotoxin that's deployed and you yourself don't have the right equipment to avoid it. Releasing this into the wild purposefully would just devastate. It would devastate the galaxy.
All right. The last thing, because you saw it, the shock wave was tough to deal with. I managed to get the reactor started again, but that shock wave, if I understand the accounts, it was caused because the ship, did it jump to FTL while it was in the atmosphere? I didn't think ships had to get away from the gravity well before they could jump. I didn't know it was physically possible.
It looked like it did just that.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, we're dealing with something new here.
So
all I can say is that you don't want even one of those things on your ship or in your building or on the ground. We barely escaped, the three of us and the android, and there were hundreds of these creatures. Hundreds. They multiply very, very quickly. It's a disease that's going to spread, and we can't have that happen.
Well, I think we ought to get ready to meet with Rose.
I think so too.
All right, so I'm gonna get on with it. I'm gonna get ready to meet. All right, you guys. That's the end of our discussion over a quick bite.
Anybody else have other questions out of game? Or, I mean, in game, but I'm asking out of game.
No.
All right, let's. I'm assuming Rose is going to contact us because we were given coordinates, but.
Well, no, Blake just told you guys to go to Grendel.
That's right. Just told us to go to Grendel. We don't know.
Blake would know where to
Right.
find Rose.
Okay.
So you just have to make arrangements to land and everything.
So we get to see how well Rudy can pilot.
Yeah.
Hold it. Rudy only has one arm.
You know, Dwayne, whose side are you on? Starting to think that you're the one that we should be interrogating.
You have 8 dice.
So I guess you guys are coming in for approach to make planetfall. Grendel Space Traffic Control reaches out. And none of you speak any language other than English, do you?
No, and I also, before we came to planetfall, I had one other question written down on my notes that I want to ask the crew and ask Blake, and that is, should we switch our transponder back to the Magellan, or should we keep it the way it was? Because we switched our transponder after we had left the previous meeting and before we got to GBH 45. Should we switch our transponder back to the Magellan?
I'm fine with switching it back. I mean, a mission's over. We
All
wouldn't
right.
Yeah.
be like pretending to
We
do
left
that all
on
the
our
time.
original one. I would switch it back.
Okay.
All right. So we should do that before we approach Grendel.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll
Okay.
let that.
So we're the Magellan again.
Correct.
And our fake IDs, we're dumping that, right?
Well, we'd have to physically take those chips out.
No, we can.
Okay.
The auto.
So
We
we'll
can do
ask.
that
We'll ask to
anytime.
do that too.
Rose Whitehill knows who we are. Whitehill knows who we are.
That's true. So, as you're approaching, you get hailed by Grendel's space traffic control, and you don't recognize what's said to you. It might be in it's probably in Spanish.
Huh?
Then there's a second message that comes over in English. SS Magellan, this is Grendel Traffic Control. We detected you on sensors. You're on approach. We don't have a scheduled stop from your vessel here on Grendel. State your business.
This is the SS Magellan. We're on an unscheduled flight from. Side note: where the hell were we coming from again?
Well, you'd most recently come from GBH 45, but prior to that, you were on Bracken's World.
All right, we'll say Bracken's World. Out of Bracken's World, we need to make a emergency stop for supplies and to offload 2 of our crew who are recently deceased.
Well, that's very unfortunate, SS Magellan. We're sorry to hear about that. Give us a few moments to work you in for approach and find you a pad. Because you are an unscheduled stop, there will be a $50,000 landing and refueling fee. We're sure you can handle that.
You're sure of that? Okay, if you say so, Grendel.
That's hilarious.
And of course, there will be an inspection by Spaceport personnel of your entire vessel upon landing. So be prepared to receive an inspector before you disembark.
Okay, thank you. Psst, guys, start hiding all that shit we found.
It's right. All right. So who wants to make the piloting role? Is that you, Rudy?
Yeah, that'll be me.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, and surely no one has any stress or anything like that at this point. It's been quite some time.
No, I don't have any stress. Don't call me Shirley.
Now, I do think we need to spend a minute here hiding, making sure that the spindles are hidden, undetectable. We don't want that shit seized.
Or do you want to hide them in plain sight?
Doesn't matter as long as they're hidden.
Make well. What I'm saying is, make them look like. Put them in somebody's private quarters. Make them look like they're decoration or something.
Yeah, like a lava lamp.
Yeah, or the urn is. And the urn, or you could put them in the urn and close the urn and make the urn look like. Again, like a piece of art in somebody's cabin or something.
I fucking love that idea. That's hilarious. What, this? Oh, it's just a bauble I picked up somewhere. I thought it looked nice. The most deadly weapon in the universe. That's hilarious.
And then make sure that Apollo doesn't allow anyone but crew members to access the system. They have every right to search, but they don't have a right to root through our equipment.
Well, I plan on being right there with them when they do it.
Yeah, so they don't have a right to access our AI.
Sent you a message, Blake.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure you saw it. Just a piece of information you would know. All right. Well, let's. Oh, there's your piloting roll. Very good. All right. So, yeah, Rudy does a stellar job. Almost as good as Max would have. Bringing the ship in.
Had to bring up Max.
Max would have had like 4 of those successes.
But yeah, bring the ship in, following the coordinates and the beacon that were sent to you. You're able to bring the ship in and land just fine. Upon landing, the a spaceport official reaches out to you via comms, stating SS Magellan, an inspector is on the way to your vessel now. Please await. He will also collect the landing and refueling fee. Thank you.
Okay, quick question. One to Jim, one to Marty. Jim, what is Blake good at? Like, what can we count on him for? I mean, can he pilot? Can he medical? Is he a combat guy? What's his deal?
I mean, from what you can tell, pretty much just a combat guy, grunt.
Okay.
Doesn't look like he would be a pilot at all.
Okay. And then, Marty, how does a fee get handled? Like, does that just come out of our?
Oh yeah,
account
they'll
to-
just take it right out of your account. They'll have you
Okay.
put your thumb here, and it'll be all taken care of.
Do we have it? I assume we have it. I wasn't doing the accounting, so I don't know.
Yeah. What's ship stores had the money in it? Let's see here. Where's your ship stores? There it is.
We'll just invoice or redirect it to SSI.
That's probably true. But yeah, you got 116 grand in your account
All right, so
because they've been making your ship payments while you guys have been doing all this. So
let's just make sure to get a receipt. You pay for my parking? 50,000 credits, please.
You get it validated.
all right. So yeah, the a two-man VTOL gyro car comes driving out to your pad, and this weaselly little guy gets out of the car. He's probably 5'4", short hair, bald on top. He's got a big nose and a set of glasses that kind of perch on the end of him, and he's wearing a cheap suit. Comes up to the airlock, waiting for entry, and I would imagine
Let him in.
Yeah, he.
Or actually, I'll tap on the glass and ask just like his ID. You know.
He's got like a lanyard clipped to one of his suit lapels, and he kind of holds it up.
I'll make a show of like having a hard time reading it.
He looks annoyed.
Closer, what?
Yeah, he definitely looks annoyed at this. You, when you let him in, he's got this kind of this high-pitched, nasally voice. SS Magellan, are you Captain Rudat?
That is me. Welcome aboard, sir. You are?
I'm Inspector Hazley.
Nice to meet you.
First things first, and he pulls out a pad and he goes, "Would you authorize the payment for landing here, please?"
Sure. Stick my finger on the glass.
All right. And then he sighs. He goes, "So I guess now I need to check the ship out. Let's
Please do. Let me show you around. Where would you like to begin?
I'm not familiar with this class. Let's just, I guess we'll start with the cargo bay and take me around."
All right. If you have any technical questions, let me know, and I'll have our engineer join us. But for now, here we go.
Very well. So as you're walking around, taking him through the ship, he couldn't possibly look like less interested in what he's doing. Uh, Simply put, he just, he's just here to perform whatever job. You probably get about halfway through, and he sighs loudly and says, all right, all right, everything's I'm fine with this. Do you have anything fragile, liquid, perishable, communicable that you're taking off the ship?
Not at all, with the exception of our recently deceased crewmates.
Of course. Please keep in mind that should that be determined to be a lie, uh, you will be held by Grendel police, and the potential penalties for such a crime could be 3 months community service or $100,000.
Of course,
Thank you. Have a
I'm,
good
I'm
day.
familiar with port law. Thank you.
He just heads out. He's he's over it.
Cool. That's the way I like it.
Yeah,
Now,
nice.
he probably planted 17 bombs in the 30 seconds he was here.
So Grendel is a very Earth-like planet. It didn't require terraforming. It's very green. It rains a lot here, and if you guys are going to head out of the ship to meet Rose, are you taking anything with you, or are you leaving everything on board ship right now? You're just headed out.
I think we have a question for Blake.
Okay, very good.
Blake, should we do a preliminary meet with Rose, and then have her team come back to the ship, or how do you think we should should we handle it? She's your boss.
Yeah, she is. Now that we're through the inspection, I think the best course of action is to where are those jars? Did you guys store those? Are they in cryo or something now? I'm asking this out of character. I don't remember.
They put them on display in a cruiser.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They're still on
as
display.
art.
Yeah, that's right. Put it on display.
That's
Sorry.
hilarious.
So yeah, it's Blake chuckles at that, and he goes, "I think the safest course of action is to get those off the ship, and we bring him to Rose."
I have to counterpoint that. I feel like I want to make sure it's safe before we carry around this genetic bomb in a glass vial.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We do have Roman who can babysit it.
And I've got hard drives with data, and I've got hard drives with data.
I mean, we could bring that. It's not in danger of breaking and destroying the planet.
Roman's in the head, or Dr. Ritual Roman. He's in the head. He's not feeling too well. He's throwing up.
Oh, Jesus.
What's wrong with him?
Oh, he's pretty sure it's just a complication from what he's got going on from his condition.
Is he in a condition that he could function, or do we need to render medical assistance?
No, he's kind of green, but he thinks he'll be okay.
Yeah, he told us. He told us part of what was happening, I think. So.
He never got injected, did he?
No. But he told us about
his disease
and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll let him know that. I mean, obviously he's not armed. He's not going to be fighting off like a team of attackers. But if anything happens, let us know and we'll come running.
Well,
he could stay. He could, unless he has debriefing to do with Rose, he could stay on the ship.
That's what I'm saying. He should stay with.
If we're leaving the vials on the ship, then we definitely need somebody to guard them, and you need to button up the ship so nobody can get in.
Yeah, and we could. I don't know. We still have do we still have your sentry? Max's sentry turrets?
Nope, they're gone.
All right, they're in orbit around
somewhere
LG.
In deep space, hurtling.
Blake speaks up. He goes, I know where we can get supplies and weapons. We just need to bring along enough money.
Yeah, well, Rose is going to take care of that, believe me. So for now, all right, the ship's going to get locked up, and we could have Roman put the, bad juice back in the containment so it's safe.
And call us if
Yeah, call us if he feels
anything
worse.
happens, or if
Like,
anybody tries to get on the ship, or any of that, right?
yeah, anything unusual or he feels worse, we'll come right back.
Yeah. He, I would say he probably presses into Jake's hand the sample of Yautja blood that you guys took from the dead Yautja as you guys were leaving. It's still glowing like vibrantly luminescent green. And when he hands it to Jake, he says, make sure they get this. They said it might be able to help.
All right, thanks.
Jake will secret it on his person, and
That means the butt, right?
He carried that uncomfortable hunk of metal in his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only safe place, Jake.
That's right. That's right.
Literally take one for the team.
That's
Come on, man. Hurry up, too, because we got to get out of here.
Oh boy! All right.
Nothing. Bob's like, shut up.
The so Grendel is Grendel is it's a big place. As you guys are making your way through the spaceport, out of the spaceport, into the main city, which is really the only real city on Grendel. It's overcast. It's raining very hard, which you may or may not know. It rains here a lot. There's the streets are clogged with gyro cars. There are pedestrians everywhere that are all carrying umbrellas that have handles that light up. Uh, the there's street vendors, especially around the spaceport, everywhere, selling everything from T-shirts to mystery meat on a stick, and there's so many languages being because you're in ICSC space. This is not any one government, or this is not any of the major Earth governments. So there's English, there's Russian, there's Arabic, there's any number of languages being spoken here. And as you pass by someone hawking some bauble or another, they shout at you in Spanish, and when you don't respond, they switch over to what might be Russian, and when you don't respond, they switch over to something else, and eventually they just move to the next person. Blake, you of course know where SSI's you of course know where the SSI headquarters would be. It would be it'd probably be a good hour on foot to get through the city to get there, unless you guys wanted to try to hire transportation to take you. It's up to you guys.
I speak up and say we can get there faster, and pointing to one of the, I don't know if it's a cart or a vehicle or whatever's near us. We can get to using one of these cars.
Yeah.
sounds good.
All
Works for
right.
me.
Of course, when you approach the car, the door opens, and a robot, not a synthetic, but a robot made to look like a person, turns towards you and says, "Thank you for using Johnny Cab.
Uh-oh.
Please input your destination."
If you're asked to Mars.
So I type in the destination for where Rose is.
That will be $125.
And anybody got a card?
Yep, here you go. This is
Blake, Blake, don't you have a company card?
Wasn't on his character sheet. Johnny Cab the gullwing doors open up and you guys pile in, and because there are four of you, right? Yeah, there's four of you because Roman's back on the ship, Dr. Roman, I should say, and it's the city's impressive. It's large. There's uh, everything from small businesses to large corporate buildings, companies that don't have a presence on Earth, probably companies you've never heard of. And as you make your way through the city, eventually you reach a large glass and steel edifice that has no markings on it whatsoever to indicate what it is. But Blake, you recognize the building. Of course, it's home office.
Yep.
So Johnny Cab stops and it turns around and says, "You've reached your destination. Thank you for using Johnny Cab."
All right, so we exit,
Yeah.
and I lead the group up to. I'm assuming there's a door with some sort of communication device, right?
Yeah, it's actually just an automatic glass door that leads into a lobby.
Okay. Well, I'll
Um,
take them in to where I know I either have to check in or bring them to Rose directly.
yeah, yeah. As you enter, there's a couple SSI security personnel in the in the lobby that are fully armed and armored. There's no hiding that they're carrying assault rifles and wearing body armor. As a side note, you guys probably also noticed that the various police that walk around in the city of Grendel really look more military than they do police, but they also were carrying SSI weaponry. So obviously SSI does some supplying there. Uh, the receptionist knows who you are, Blake, without any question. You're a well-known, company employee.
My
And
distinctive facial features.
what's
My distinctive facial features. Yeah.
yeah, you might be recognized there.
Mhm.
Um, she smiles at you, Mr. Jones. Is this the crew of Magellan?
It is,
Yeah,
and we've. We didn't lose anybody, did we? Did we lose somebody? I mean, besides the pilot, right, Max?
Max and Vickers. Yeah,
Oh, Vickers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
right.
this is the crew of Magellan -2 who are lost.
Well, Rose is up on. She's on the top floor. I'll send her a message, let her know you're coming up,
Thank you.
and the elevator's just over to the left, uh, and the building. It's a six-story building. And you know a lot of what goes on here, Blake. The rest of the PCs don't, but
Right.
it's all very modern. There's a lot of glass. There's a lot of plasteel. It's a very nice office building. As you guys make your way up, the elevator empties into another lobby, and there's a large reception desk there with another. With another brunette woman behind it. She's wearing a headset. But as you guys file out of the elevator, Rose Whitehill is actually coming out of an office to the right, and she's heading towards you. She was smiling for just a moment, but then as her eyes kind of roam over the four of you, the smile just kind of drops, and she says, "Blake, it's good to see you. Captain Rudat, I'm a little concerned. Where's the rest of your crew?"
We've suffered some losses.
I pipe up and go, Rose. It's gotten worse than we feared.
She says, I've been scanning the reports coming out of the USCMC in Weyland-Yutani. It sounds like the entire colony there is a total loss.
Yeah, I suggest we have this discussion behind closed doors rather than out here in the hallway or the what do you call it, entrance foyer or whatever?
Right. She says, "Well, why don't we do this?" And she points across this very clean, posh lobby with its expensive plants, and she says, "Mr. Verhoeven's waiting for us. So why don't you follow me?"
Okay.
So she walks to the other side of the lobby from where she came from and comes to a door, an honest to God wood door. And she knocks on it, and then she opens the door. Inside is a very large office. In a time in the galaxy where space is at a premium, this office is probably 5 meters wide and about 10 meters long. And what looks to be real wood, cherry bookshelves line both sides of this office. And they're filled with real books. I mean, just at a quick glance, it looks like it's mostly nonfiction. From some of the most recent business and motivational books to books from authors with really funny names like Zig Ziglar. One of you probably recognizes Sun Tzu. And then there's books about there's memoirs and biographies and books about historical figures, names that you vaguely remember as a kid. There's the floor. The floor looks to be hardwood, like real hardwood, not the prefab stuff, with a rich rug that kind of runs its length, and it ends in what has to be an extraordinarily expensive piece of furniture, a wood desk. Wood's expensive. Even it's just expensive to harvest it, to turn it into furniture. There's a man in a very expensive suit sitting behind that desk. He's occasionally tapping some keys on a computer terminal with his left hand, and in his right hand he's got a pen that he's making notes with on a pad of paper. Behind him, the wall is one giant window that affords a view of the rainy city. He looks up as you enter, and a slight smile touches his lips. His chair rolls back slightly, and he stands up, presenting a powerfully built man that is tall. He's very tall, maybe not quite 2 meters tall. And as he approaches, he says, with an accent that might be vaguely European, but someone who's spoken English his entire life, "Welcome to Grendel. I'm Paul Verhoeven." And that's what he looks like. I don't know why it won't let me expand these anymore. Hold on. Oh, shit. It almost did it. That didn't. Come on. There we go.
Very handsome man.
That's funny. I'll be back.
Well, of course, out of game, Paul Verhoeven directed RoboCop, so... and The Running Man, I believe.
Yeah.
So... what do you guys think as a stopping point?
Paul Verhoeven, what are you doing here?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I think this is fine. I've got some stuff to do.
Okay. All right, cool. Then that's what we'll do. We'll call it here, and then we'll let me double check. I think I think I'm clear for next week. Let me double check that really quickly. Yeah, I'm clear for next week if everybody else is.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
good.
good right now.
All right. All right, very good. Thanks, guys.
Good session.
Thank you.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of death.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll have a private funeral for Max here.
Does that mean you're going to get drunk?
I'll just dump out the can
Can I
on
come
the
over and
floor.
grieve with you?
Linda will probably Linda will get mad when she sees beer on the floor after I
You don't
dump one out.
understand, Linda. He's dead. He's dead. You didn't even know him.
Yeah.
I forgot. We do need to experience real quick. I'm sorry. Let's get that knocked out real quick
Oh,
because this does end this scenario. So let's knock that out. Let me get to my the questions of questions. All right. Did you participate? Of course, yes. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda? Let's see. Well, I'll let you guys make that determination. Um, did you risk your life for your buddy PC? Inversely, did you do something to kill your buddy? No.
stop.
Did you challenge or stand up to your rival PC? Or your rival? I don't really feel like the buddy or rival necessarily needs to be a PC. It can be an NPC. But anyway, did you make a panic roll? Everyone did that. Did you overcome a dangerous event? Yeah, everybody did that. Did you make a significant discovery or revelation?
Well, I guess the drawings and the fact that the android knew all these things.
Okay.
And we've got samples of predator blood and black goop. That's a lot.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. That's good. Absolutely. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? Dwayne absolutely did, because he sacrificed a story point to save the ship. And, Jim, from the standpoint of you, did either you as Blake or you as Max do it?
Oh, so I'm gonna. So this is a player thing, not a character
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, in this instance, because I killed you horribly, yeah, I'll definitely make
Okay.
it.
All right.
And then, did you earn any money? And the answer to that's yes. So, the answer to that is pretty much always yes, as long as someone's paying your ship payment. And then the next question is, who used a story point during this scenario?
Dwayne did, didn't he?
Yeah, Dwayne did, and
No, he's the only one as far as I know.
or I guess a better question is, did anybody do anything besides Dwayne to earn a story point? I mean, Dwayne, you definitely earn your story point just based on your agenda and what you had to do.
Right.
Let's see. Rudy, I'm afraid you lost 2 crew members this game. So, unfortunately, no story point there. Jake, you're headed towards it. I'll give you the story point. And then let's see. Vickers is dead. Dwayne, we already said yes. And then as far as Jim, you're concerned, I don't really know.
Say that part again.
I was wondering about if you did something agenda-wise that earned a story point, but I don't think that's the case.
No, probably
Yeah.
not.
So, all right, and then yeah, you guys can spend XP how you like. And then other than that, Jim, did you add an agenda for Blake Jones?
I did.
Okay.
still a little bit of skeletal. I'll add more
That's
to
fine.
it.
You can flesh it out a little bit more, and then if you didn't already, you'll need to pick a buddy and rival too.
Sure,
So,
sure.
all right, cool,
Awesome.
guys. Thanks so much for playing. I enjoyed it as always.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for the GMing. Excellent.
Absolutely,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you very much. Great session.
You bet. We'll
Yeah,
see you
thanks.
next week.
Thanks for
Okay.
trying to kill everybody.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
We really had it out for Max this time.
The problem is the neomorph is just so damn fast with 3 actions.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And it's ruled mostly by instinct. So when it sees its first prey, it's probably just going to keep trying to get that guy.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Pissed off Chihuahua.
yeah, exactly. I thought you were going to make it for a minute, though.
I did too, but that's how it always goes, right?
That's right. All
Now,
right, guys.
what I've always wondered though, is in this gameplay, how the xenomorph gets so large so quickly without any apparent energy intake, i.e., he didn't eat anybody.
Well, it's funny you asked that because I will simply say that in the rules, when a neomorphic bloodburster is talking about in the core rule book, rules as written, when a neomorphic bloodburster pops out, it takes and of course your character I guess wouldn't know this, though Blake might, but it takes a I think it's 6 turns, so an hour basically, to grow to the next size.
Okay.
And then it takes to grow to the next size after that. I believe takes another. It's either another shift or another 24 hours. But needless to say, from the time this thing was born to the time it killed Max wasn't an hour. So
Yeah.
And also in the rules as written, when someone gets infected, it takes a lot longer to birth the neomorphic bloodburster than it took Vickers to birth his.
Yeah, that was really fast.
Yeah, so
The question one thing that I was a little disappointed. Well, I'm not disappointed in any, not about the game. I'm talking about the Alien universe. The first chest burster was like a snake, right? With arms.
yeah.
And we haven't seen those in the movies since then, have we?
No, we have not. Well, we saw it in the beginning of Aliens when they found the survivor in the Atmo processing facility, because that was the same type of chest burster. But in Alien Covenant, the one that bursts out of the captain that David infected, those eggs were much larger. And the one that burst out of him looked just like a regular xenomorph, but he was tiny.
Right.
And in the novelizations, there's explanation for that.
Yeah, I thought there were. I just don't remember them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there are some explanations for that. I'm hoping that the upcoming TV show and the upcoming streaming movie will bring things back a little bit.
there's a streaming movie? Is it tied to the TV show? Or
It is not, to my knowledge, it is not directly tied to the TV show. It is supposed to be, I believe it's supposed to be out on Hulu. But just like the TV show, Ridley Scott is involved as a producer.
Okay.
So now let's be blunt. He started the whole IP, so anything they do is going to list him as a producer, whether he actually has any involvement or not. He's going to get his cut.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, there's a streaming movie supposed to be out in 2024, and the new TV show coming next year.
Didn't you guys tell me once that I told this to a friend of mine and he refuses to believe it, but didn't you guys tell me once that the Yautja stuff is not canon for the Aliens universe?
It is not canon for the Aliens universe. The AvP movies are considered to be basically just their own universe. because Andrew E.C. Gasca, who's the main writer for most of this stuff in Alien, is actually the guy who literally wrote the book for Disney as to what's canon in Alien and what's canon in Predator, because Disney owns both of them. And Alien and Predator are completely separate franchises. They're not canon together at all. Technically, as far
What's the
as
rationale for like the alien skull being on a predator ship and
it's just an Easter
Predator
egg.
2? Just an Easter egg.
Just like how there's Wayland Yutani logos in Blade Runner. It's just an Easter egg. The Blade Runner and Wayland Yutani and Aliens universes are separate. It's been even Ridley Scott says they're not the same universe. So
Gotcha.
and he invented both, so he has the right to say that.
I need fuel to defend my arguments when I tell him, no, dude, it's not.
Yeah, Google Andrew E.C. Gasca.
Dude, I don't even know how to spell that.
Well, it's Andrew, then E.C., and then Gasca, Gaska, and Google his name and writing, I don't know, writing the manual for Disney on Alien or something like that, and you can find some articles about it. So,
How did he get that gig? That's pretty cool.
I have no freaking clue.
To be
Because
the master of the two universes and
oh
decide.
my god, yeah.
And he wrote the RPG, right?
Yeah, he's written basically. He basically wrote Destroyer of Worlds. He wrote. I think he wrote Hadley's Last Hope, which is the one that comes in the book. He wrote Chariot of the Gods. He wrote Heart of Darkness. Even though well, anyway, I was about to go down a dark path. I'm not going to.
Hey, how many talents is the max, by the way? Isn't there a max for that?
There is. I will double check the rules. I don't believe there is a max. However, there is a max on number of skills. No human can have points in more than 7 skills. But as a synthetic, I don't think
Wait,
that
skills.
Yeah, medical aid and comtech and all that stuff.
Okay, you can't have more than 7 of those.
Correct. But I don't think there's a limit on talents. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing that.
All right, well, very cool. I learn something every time we play. It's awesome.
I never saw a limit. I never saw a limit on talents.
No.
Quick question for skills. To increase a skill, can we just increase it, or do we need to make a wits roll or anything?
No, to increase the skill, you just increase it.
Excellent.
It's 5 points to raise it 1 point.
Yep.
And is there a max on
5.
skill can't exceed 5 points?
Correct.
Okay.
And you can't have 7 of them?
You can't have more than 7.
Right.
Can't have more than 7. I'm sorry, more than 7.
You can't have You can't have more than 7 skills that you have points in.
Okay.
And the idea there, it's showing the limitation on how many things you can know how to do, basically, as a human being.
So if I wanted to get the counselor talent, I would have to study that under someone, apparently, right?
You either have to study that under somebody, or you have to make a wits roll every day until you get it.
Expiration
Okay.
date's gonna be up.
So.
Just so the players know I will get that to help everybody with their panic.
Nice.
Very cool. All right, guys, I got to go.
Yep, me
It
too.
was awesome. Sharif, I'll give you a call. We can coordinate for tomorrow or
Yes, please.
day after.
All right, guys.
All
See you
right.
next week.
Yep. Thanks much.